Chapter 400. The second impact of the void cleaving pill was significantly smaller. Ningqing immediately realized that relying on the void cleaving pill to attack the sea opening realm was just a delusion. He did not hesitate and took out the remaining 2 crystal stones. If he did not use these 2 crystal stones to break through the bottleneck, but instead kept them for his slow cultivation, coupled with the spirit stones, Ningqing was confident that he could cultivate to the late stages of the sea opening realm. Even breaking through to the crucible transformation realm was not impossible. Unfortunately, he did not have any higher grade medicinal pills, nor did he have any better heavenly treasures. As such, he could only rely on these 2 crystal stones to break through to the sea opening realm. Although 1 crystal stone could help him break through. But according to Ningqing's cultivation experience, using 1 crystal stone to break through to the sea opening realm was still somewhat difficult. Ningqing attached the 2 crystal stones to his dantian. Under the operation of the mysterious yellow formless cultivation method, a violent spiritual power surged out like a raging wave towards the sea opening realm's cultivation barrier. The spiritual power flowing out from the crystal stones, under the powerful cultivation method, was not as slow as Ningqing's usual cultivation. Boom. As the 2 crystal stones' spiritual power surged down, Ningqing felt that his rank 5 imperial body was unable to bear it. Blood started to seep out from his body. The incomparably violent spiritual power within his dantian could not find an outlet. It felt as if it would tear his entire body apart in the next moment. Ningqing spouted out a mouthful of blood, while crazily absorbing the spiritual power from the crystal stones to break through the cultivation barrier. He was sure that no one would be as crazy as him when trying to break through the cultivation bottleneck. Absorbing such a terrifying amount of spiritual power, Ningqing only had one path, that is, to break through to the sea opening realm. Otherwise he would die. This crystal stone spiritual power was incomparably violent. Moreover, it did not have even half a point of harmony. This was not a medicinal pill. Medicinal pills paid particular attention to harmony. Even if one failed to break through, there would be very little life-threatening danger. However, Ningqing wanted to use this crystal stone to break through the cultivation barrier, which was tantamount to meeting force with force. Apart from using his body to resist, there was no other way. Breaking through to the sea opening realm's cultivation, even if he had a rank 5 imperial body, it would not be impossible. Ningqing hardened his heart to break through this cultivation barrier. Even if the spiritual power within his body had reached an extreme, he still crazily absorbed spiritual power, again and again. Once, twice. With Ningqing's continuous attacks, although the barrier to his cultivation had loosened a bit, the accumulated spiritual power in his body had become even more terrifying. The surface of his body was completely dyed red by beads of blood. It seemed that in the next moment, his body would explode from the spiritual power. Fortunately, when Ningqing refined his body in the sifting orchid star, he had already experienced a pain that was not any weaker than this. As such, he could still endure it. As long as he could endure it, he would not die. Boom 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 boom. The entire sky turned gloomy as Ningqing continued to crazily attack the barrier to the sea opening realm. He knew that the lightning tribulation was about to arrive. The reason why it was so difficult for him to break through to the sea expansion realm was not because of his poor aptitude. Instead, it was because his foundation was simply too thin. At this time, he was completely relying on the mysterious yellow origin to forcibly advance. Otherwise, with his foundation, if he wanted to advance to the sea opening realm, it would have taken him at least 2 years. Kaka. 9 thick lightning arcs descended, followed by a thunder waterfall. However, Ningqing did not bring out the everlasting blue thunder city. He had the cultivation of a king's body refinement. He wanted to see if he could withstand this kind of lightning. His body was completely filled with spiritual power. Even if he could not withstand it, the huge amount of spiritual power in his body could support him in blocking the lightning tribulation. Pung pung. Puff puff. The 9 lightning arcs exploded on Ningqing's body, splashing out bursts of bloody mist. Catcha! The sound of bones breaking resounded, causing Ningqing's heart to sink. He found that he was wrong. The spiritual power in his body and the external lightning tribulation were 2 different things. The spiritual power in his body had not yet transformed into his strength, so it was absolutely impossible for him to block this lightning tribulation. Although his body refining cultivation method could reduce the damage to him, and could even quickly strengthen his corporeal body, the speed and intensity of this lightning tribulation were just too great. Not waiting for his body refining cultivation method to repair his corporeal body, the lightning tribulation had already completely exploded on his body. Seeing that the large thunder waterfall was about to descend, Ningqing knew that he absolutely could not resist it. Otherwise, he would die without a doubt. At this time, a trace of blue-colored spiritual source suddenly appeared in Ningqing's meridians. This spiritual source was quickly absorbed by him. Moreover, after absorbing this spiritual source, his cultivation instantly increased by a level. Ketcha. With a sound, the cultivation barrier to the sea-opening realm unexpectedly cracked open. Ningqing's brain buzzed. Unexpectedly, he did not have enough time to bring out the everlasting blue Thunder City. The next moment, the large thunder waterfall fell on Ningqing's body, causing Ningqing's body to shake. Not waiting for him to actively circulate his cultivation method, the mysterious yellow formless automatically revolved. That large thunder waterfall fell on his body, causing large chunks of flesh and blood to fly off. However, the excess thunder waterfall was once again absorbed by him, turning into a blue spiritual source, causing his cultivation to once again crazily soar. A mysterious feeling welled up in Ningqing's heart. At this moment, he almost could not believe his own feelings. He could feel his own spiritual roots. He found that he already had fire, water, wood, ice, wind and thunder spiritual roots. Ningqing once again forcibly checked his sea of consciousness. That's right, in his sea of consciousness, there was a spiritual aura of fire, water, wood, ice, wind and thunder. The spiritual aura of thunder was the smallest, but as he continued to absorb the blue spiritual source, the spiritual aura of thunder gradually grew, while his cultivation also gradually rose. Ningqing instantly understood that the blue spiritual source was the thunder origin. With the thunder spiritual roots, he could now absorb the thunder origin. His spiritual roots really were rising at every moment. Moreover, he could even see it, causing Ningqing to feel pleasantly surprised. He was sure that not many people could see their spiritual roots, yet he could actually do it. Boom boom boom. Once again, large thunder arcs fell, causing Ningqing to sober up. He was still in the midst of crossing the tribulation. After his cultivation rose, Ningqing felt that the violent spiritual power within his body had become much weaker. Once again, large thunder arcs and thunder waterfall fell on Ningqing's body. Ningqing was even more unwilling to bring out the everlasting blue Thunder City. Even if his body was destroyed beyond recognition, he still wanted to absorb this lightning source. Only by absorbing this thunder origin would his cultivation rise, giving him the opportunity to advance to the sea-opening realm. Otherwise, once his corporeal body collapsed under the impact of the two crystal stones, he would be finished. It was not a matter of his corporeal body shattering, but a matter of losing his life. The spiritual power within the two crystal stones was like an overturned ocean. Coupled with the seemingly endless thunder origin, it crashed into the sea-opening realm's cultivation barrier. The originally cracked cultivation barrier suddenly opened up, as if a brand new door had appeared in front of Ningqing. A powerful force filled his entire body. The spiritual power that was about to burst his body instantly flowed through his meridians, transforming into true essence cultivation. The tribulation thunder in the sky continued, but Ningqing knew that he no longer feared this kind of thunder tribulation. He did not even try to avoid it, as he crazily absorbed the crystal stones to consolidate his cultivation. At the same time, he also crazily absorbed the thunder origin to strengthen his thunder spiritual roots. If there was anyone who dared to immerse themselves in cultivation while crossing the tribulation, it would definitely be Ningqing. At this time, he let the tribulation thunder arcs bombard his body, while he continued to absorb the spiritual chi and the thunder origin for his cultivation. The mysterious yellow origin also became active at this moment, as it filled Ningqing's meridians, cooperating with Ningqing's cultivation method for his cultivation. His previously battered corporeal body was also recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Although the surface of his body looked very frightening, in fact, it was just a layer of blood foam. Not knowing how long it took, the 2 crystal stones finally turned into powder, as Ningqing suddenly opened his eyes. The thunder tribulation had already disappeared, as the area around him had turned into nothingness. The powerful strength made Ningqing unable to bear it. He finally had the capital to contend with a crucible transformation cultivator. Just after crossing the tribulation, he was already at the peak of the first level of Sea Opening Realm. Who is it? Ningqing suddenly paused, as he stared into the depths of the Dawn Forest. Crossing a small tribulation. It seems like you want to break through the universe. This is the first time that I have seen such a boring person like you. A silvery bell-like voice suddenly arrived. The next moment a woman wearing a red robe appeared in front of Ningqing. Ningqing's heart tightened. This woman gave people the feeling that she was not young. However, her porcelain doll face seemed to be telling others that she was not that old. Not only did she have a porcelain doll face, but her skin was also smooth and white, as if it would break with a single blow. Her pair of big and bright eyes stared at Ningqing, sizing him up from top to bottom. Ningqing discovered that the clothes on his body had been completely turned into rags by the thunder tribulation and the spiritual power of the 2 crystal stones. These rags were hanging on his body, making him look like a beggar with no clothes to cover his body. Ningqing knew that he should wash himself and then change into a clean set of clothes, but he did not dare to do so. This red-robed woman looked like a porcelain doll, but she gave him a very dangerous feeling. He even suspected that he was not her opponent. I want to change my clothes, you get out of the way. Ningqing stared at the red-robed woman and spoke in a deep voice. He did not feel shy at all. Not to mention that he still had some rags covering his body. Even if the rags on his body were completely gone, he would not feel shy at all. Facing a woman whose intuition told him that she was very dangerous, Ningqing did not dare to make even half a move. He was even ready to bring out his 36 cosmic true devil axes at any time. Does this Dawn Forest belong to your family? I want to stay here and watch, whether you change your clothes or not. What does it have to do with me? The red-robed woman spoke in a casual manner, while her eyes constantly swept over Ningqing's body. Ningqing slowly retreated. He soon found that no matter how much he retreated, this woman would always come forward, giving him a kind of vague threat. Ningqing swept out with his spiritual consciousness. He guessed that if this woman wanted to make a move, then she would definitely make a move the moment he put on his clothes. He wanted to see if there was anything in the surroundings that he could take advantage of. Luofei. Ningqing was shocked in his heart. Why did Luofei come here? After his spiritual consciousness saw Ji Luofei, Ningqing no longer cared about this woman, and rushed in front of Luofei in a flash. Luofei's cultivation was too poor. He did not dare to let this red-robed woman harm Luofei even in the slightest. It turned out to be true woo-woo. Ji Luofei saw Ningqing covered in blood, with his clothes not even covering his body as he fell in front of her, and could not help but hug Ningqing and cry. Ningqing's heart jumped. He guessed that the red-robed woman was about to make a move, but he found that he could not even see the shadow of that red-robed woman in his spiritual consciousness. Chapter 401. This kind of collapse would cause everything to come to a standstill. At this time, the person who brought out this spirit technique would erupt with flames, turning everything in the middle of this fire elemental collapse into powder. Ningqing calmed his mind, as he concentrated his entire consciousness into these images. A woman in a red robe brought me here. She said that you were fighting with people, and that it was very dangerous. Even your clothes were blown away, and I became very anxious, so... Ji Luofei spoke while taking out a white towel to wipe the blood off Ningqing's body. Not knowing for how long, Ningqing once again opened his eyes. The jade simplification that Song Wei had given him had turned into flying ash, without any trace left behind. This spiritual technique could only be comprehended once. If one could not comprehend it once, then one would not have the opportunity to comprehend it a second time. This spiritual technique was called maximal flame. Ningqing did not need to guess to understand what was going on. Song Wei must have known that he had a good fire seed. As such, he gave him the maximal flame spiritual technique. After advancing to the sea opening realm, Ningqing was already thinking about how to tell Ji Luofei about Shi Qianghua. He was thinking that it would be best for the two of them to get married. Ning Cheng, on seeing that his array formation was not damaged, immediately understood that the woman in red robes was not simple. His array formation was a rank 6 defensive array formation, and the other party could freely enter and exit this array formation, which showed that her strength was not ordinary. However, this woman's actions were somewhat irrational, as it was not really harmful to him. Ning Cheng did not care about it. Ning Cheng held Ji Luofei in his arms, but he still felt some fear. Not to mention that he did not know if he could beat that woman. If that woman used Luofei to threaten him, what would he do? After returning to his residence, Nan Yuefang and the other two were still in secluded cultivation. That woman in red robes did not come again, as if this matter had never happened. Time passed by slowly, and in a blink of an eye, Ning Cheng went into seclusion for another month. Ning Cheng's mind was still flashing with those images. Saying that, Ning Cheng quickly used the clear water technique and the dirt removal technique on himself. Soon he cleaned up all the dirt on his body, while changing into a clean set of clothes. Ning Cheng picked up Ji Luofei, and with a wave of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, they quickly rushed out of the dawn forest. Hearing Ji Luofei's words, he lowered his head and kissed Luofei in his arms. But before that, I have one more thing to tell you. Just when Ning Cheng felt that his entire body was being squeezed dry, bang! A terrifying explosion erupted. Ning Cheng saw a flame sweep past his eyes, and the next moment he directly sat down on the ground. No, with her cultivation level, she wouldn't need to do that to deal with Ruolin and the others. There's no need to call you here. But let's go back quickly. Although he knew that Ruolin and the others would not have any problems, Ning Cheng still felt a little worried about this mysterious woman. At this moment he couldn't even move. His divine sense was exhausted, and his true essence had dried up. Even the strength of his body had disappeared without a trace. Ji Luofei, who was watching from the side, also felt that something was wrong. She had definitely been deceived by someone. He wasn't in a hurry to do all this. He still had a divine ability Jade Slip. At this time he had already advanced to the first level of the sea opening realm. As such, he could now study the spiritual technique Jade Strip that elder brother Tsangwei had given him. Ning Cheng felt overjoyed in his heart. He was just about to speak when he suddenly frowned. He immediately took out the jade box with the spiritual consciousness tag. He knew that Gui Feng had arrived. This fellow's arrival was just too coincidental. It was as if he had grasped the moment he cast his spiritual technique. Ji Luofei wiped off some of the blood and immediately understood. Ning Cheng's body looked like it was covered in blood. However, after wiping it off, it revealed a healthy and smooth skin underneath. Big brother, don't you only need to circulate your heavenly cycle for cultivation? Did your pill furnace explode while you were performing alchemy? Ning Ruolin looked at the huge crater in front of her and asked in amazement. She couldn't help but think that even if it was a pill furnace exploding, it wouldn't cause such a terrible scene, right? His celestial river qi had cracked a bit, and some faint flames had appeared. However, Ning Cheng had already experienced the might of a celestial river qi. However, his celestial river qi had not yet fully formed. Therefore, even if he successfully cast the maximal flame spiritual technique, it would not cause much of an impact. By the time Ji Luofei stepped forward and helped Ning Cheng up, Ning Cheng had already recovered some of his strength. He swallowed a few medicinal pills and spoke with some embarrassment. My cultivation just now caused too much of a commotion, which made it impossible for you to cultivate. The maximal flame spiritual technique required a fire seed. Moreover, when this fire seed was brought out, it would also communicate with the surrounding heaven and earth. Then, in the shortest possible time, it would sweep away all the surrounding fire elements. The fire elements that were swept away would then be added to the fire seed, and in a very short period of time, it would cause the fire elements in the surrounding space to disappear, creating a false spatial collapse. Ning Cheng's thoughts fell on the fire seed in his sea of consciousness. Finally, he could not help but want to give it a try. The finger ends in the firewood, the fire transmission. I do not know the end of it. But if it were to pour out, its might would definitely kill. In a flash of lightning. The most important point of casting the maximal flame spiritual technique was to use the disappearance of the fire elements to create the false appearance of a spatial collapse. In fact, this was not a spatial collapse, but as long as it created this false appearance of a spatial collapse, as long as one grasped the moment of the false spatial collapse, it would basically be a success. The room, which was still intact a moment ago, had turned into nothingness. There was nothing left in the room. Even the soil had been burnt away, leaving behind a huge hole. Fortunately, apart from the scope of the maximal flames explosion, nothing else would be affected. However, this spiritual technique, in addition to the fire seed, also required a powerful true essence and spiritual consciousness. After Ningqing cleaned himself up and changed into a new set of clothes, he felt refreshed. He took Ji Luofei into his arms and spoke, "Don't trust others so easily next time. I don't know what that woman meant. If she had any malicious intent, then I estimate that you would be in danger." Ningqing stood up and brought out the celestial river sword. At the same time, he also started to circulate his spiritual consciousness around him. Ningqing also quickly understood the meaning of the last sentence. It meant that if he did not let the fire seed slowly spread out, but let all the fire seed explode out at once, the power would be enough to kill his opponent. In a flash of lightning, there were no more pointers. Just when Ningqing was feeling anxious, a scene suddenly appeared in his mind. These images were like electric lights that formed in Ningqing's sea of consciousness, and then flashed rapidly. "Big brother?" Ning Ruolin and Ji Luofei's voices arrived almost at the same time. Immediately, Ning Ruolin, Ji Luofei, Nan Yuefeng and Yang Honghua ran over. Ningqing's movements were simply too big. Even Grey Toot Toot also ran over, looking at Ningqing's room in shock. "Ningqing?" Ji Luofei hugged Ningqing, thinking of Ningqing's appearance a moment ago. Her tone turned even softer. A passage of words appeared in Ningqing's mind. Ningqing guarded his mind, without any distractions. He understood the meaning of the first part of the sentence. It referred to the fact that the burning of the candle was limited, but the fire seed had an endless amount of time. At this moment, Ningqing's surroundings suddenly turned scorching hot. In just a moment, the celestial river sword that he brought out issued a catch-a sound. The outer shell that wrapped the celestial river seed was instantly swallowed up by a soybean-sized flame. Not only that, the scorching heat in the surroundings seemed to have been completely swept away by the celestial river at this moment. "I'll listen to you." Ji Luofei gave an sound and no longer spoke. She felt safe and happy, and no longer had anything to worry about. Those scenes seemed to have flashed to the end, when suddenly with a catch-a sound, they all melted away. Unconsciously, Ningqing had already connected these scenes together. Although he had advanced to the first level of Sea Opening Realm, Ningqing still did not kill the two profound core cultivators, nor did he go to the Tsongqing province to rescue the women under the restrictions. After leaving the Ping continent, she wanted to ask Ningqing to take her to the depths of the Dawn Forest to find her father. In the past, her father was also lost in the Dawn Forest. Regardless of whether she could find him or not, after paying her respects to her father, she would leave with Ningqing and go anywhere. After all, he and Ji Luofei were engaged. He did not know if Ji Luofei would be angry about this matter. If Luofei was angry, then he really did not know what to do. "Let's go back and get married, right?" Ji Luofei's face turned a little red. She could feel Ningqing's thoughts. Fortunately, Luofei was fine. He really did not understand what that woman wanted to do. Ningqing quickly asked, "Why did you come here?" Ningqing suddenly felt an illusion, as if his surroundings had completely collapsed, as if the space in front of him had disappeared. The true essence and spiritual consciousness in his body was just like a river bursting its banks, crazily rushing out. Ningqing saw the tenderness in Ji Luofei's eyes, and could not help but kiss her. Ji Luofei's whole body turned soft, as she lost herself in Ningqing's arms. She and Ningqing had already kissed once. As such, this time they would not repeat it, as the two of them found it even more difficult to control themselves. After Ningqing's spiritual consciousness swept into the spiritual technique Jade Strip, he found that the Jade Strip did not contain even a single word. Just as Ningqing was feeling puzzled, a powerful thought suddenly blasted into Ningqing's sea of consciousness. Ning Cheng secretly rejoiced that he had only started to read this jade strip after reaching the sea-opening realm. Otherwise, he would have never been able to comprehend this spiritual technique in the soul-sculpting realm. Ji Luofei soon felt Ning Cheng's fiery passion, and was just about to speak, when suddenly a voice arrived. Hee, you really don't know how to be shy, ah? The two of you are so affectionate outside, moreover in broad daylight, it's really shameful. Ning Cheng could feel the celestial river in his zifu. The celestial river had now completely come out, just like a soybean suspended in the middle of his zifu. Even now, he only knew a little bit about it. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept out, but could only see a red shadow quickly disappearing. Such a ferocious spiritual technique. Ning Cheng secretly marveled in his heart. Fortunately, he had tried it out. Otherwise, if he had suddenly used the maximal flame spiritual technique in a fight with his opponent, if he did not manage to kill his opponent, then he would have to wait for his death. Even with his powerful true essence and spiritual consciousness blasting out, it only caused the false space to collapse for less than a breath. Ji Luofei immediately sobered up from that fiery tenderness. She was not shy, but spoke with some anxiousness. Would that woman go and deal with Ruolin? Ning Cheng quickly spoke up. I was just surmounting my tribulation here, and did not fight with anyone. That person must have lied to you. I will change into another set first. Chapter 402. Ning Cheng instantly swallowed a few clear jade pills. He even wanted to take out the rest of the true essence restoration spiritual medicines, only to find that Gui Feng had not come to him, but had instead gone to the Tsongqing Academy. Ning Cheng finally understood that Gui Feng's arrival was truly coincidental and not intentional. After swallowing the clear jade pill, Ning Cheng's true essence quickly recovered, and in just the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, he had already recovered more than half of it. At this moment, Gui Feng was talking to the two profound core cultivators. As such, Ning Cheng did not feel worried at all. Gui Feng was only at the first level of Pioneer Sea Realm, and his cultivation was even lower than him. How could he be afraid of Gui Feng? In any case, he was a cultivator at the peak of the first level of Sea Opening Realm. I'm fine. Let's go to the Tsongqing Academy and meet that Gui Feng. After going to the Tsongqing Academy, we will leave the Ping continent. Ning Cheng motioned to Ji Luofei and the others not to worry. She came again. Ji Luofei suddenly approached Ning Cheng and whispered in Ning Cheng's ear. Ning Cheng turned around and saw a red-robed woman standing silently at the entrance of the courtyard. It was the same red-robed woman who had watched him surmount his tribulation like a porcelain doll. When did this scarlet-robed woman arrive? Ning Cheng was simply not aware of it, causing him to feel extremely shocked in his heart. This kind of cultivation was simply too terrifying. Are you going to fight? Can I go and have a look? The scarlet-robed woman giggled, as she tilted her head and looked at Ning Cheng. Who the hell are you? Ning Cheng motioned Ning Ruolin and the others to move back and asked in a deep voice. He didn't understand why this woman in red kept looking for him. Moreover, she didn't seem to have any ill intentions. The scarlet-robed woman, who had always been very shrewd and sophisticated, was stunned by Ning Cheng's words. The mature ridicule on her face suddenly disappeared without a trace, as she muttered to herself. Who the hell am I? Who am I? In the beginning, he was still mumbling to himself, but in the end he actually grabbed his own hair, and his expression was one of anxiety. Ning Cheng looked at this scarlet-robed woman in confusion. He knew that this scarlet-robed woman's behavior was very strange, but now her behavior could not even be described as strange. Ning Ruolin looked at him with some sympathy and whispered. What's your name? Where are you from? What's my name? That's right, my name is Lost Heart, and I come from the Lost Mountain. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? The red-clothed woman pulled at her hair, quickly messing up her silky hair. Ning Cheng was just about to say that she did not need to worry about it, and did not want to think about it for the time being, when this scarlet-robed woman suddenly turned over, and instantly disappeared from their sight. Ning Cheng was secretly horrified. Just what kind of cultivation was this? Even his spiritual consciousness could not capture the other party. With this kind of cultivation, wouldn't he be able to move unhindered throughout the entire Yixing mainland? How could there be such a terrifying existence in a place like the Ping continent that lacked spiritual energy? Did this woman just say that she was called Xingxin, and that she came from the Lost Mountain? Could it be the Lost Mountains? At this moment, a powerful spiritual consciousness swept towards Ningcheng. Ningcheng knew that Guifeng already knew what had happened, and guessed that he would come looking for him immediately. Let's go to Tsongqing Academy. Ningcheng put away Grey Toot Toot, and did not care about the scarlet-robed woman. He was sure that the scarlet-robed woman's cultivation was far higher than his. Guifeng was indeed ready to look for Ningcheng. However, when he saw Ningcheng taking the initiative to come over, he gave a sneer and decided to wait for Ningcheng to come over. Elder, this is the person who took away Ji Luofei. We are not his opponent, but because this person did not leave the Tsongla city, we did not act rashly. The two profound core cultivators on seeing Ningcheng arrive at the Tsongqing Two-Star Academy quickly explained in a low voice in front of Guifeng. Who are you? Daring to take away my disciple? As Guifeng spoke, his eyes swept over Ji Luofei's face, and a trace of heat flashed through his eyes. He had never seen Ji Luofei before. As such, all the restrictions and spiritual consciousness tags were set up by him and given to his subordinates. At this time when he saw Ji Luofei, he immediately felt a sense of amazement in his heart, and immediately classified Ji Luofei as his disciple. He had seen too many beautiful women, and the number of beautiful female cultivators that he had ruined and killed were simply too many to count. He had never seen anyone as outstanding as Ji Luofei, which was definitely comparable to the Lu continent's twin lotus flowers. No, it should be said that she was slightly better than the Lu continent's twin lotus flowers. Although he did not dare to make a move on the Lu continent's twin lotus flowers, but in his eyes the rest of the women he could do whatever he wanted with them. When Ningcheng heard Guifeng's words, he realized that the other party did not take the initiative to find Luofei because of him, but rather by accident. Otherwise, it was impossible for Guifeng not to know of his existence. No wonder after he took away Luofei, it took such a long time for Guifeng to come here. Ningcheng ignored Guifeng as he raised his hands, and two black lines shot out without even the slightest sound. The two profound core cultivators did not even have the time to react before they were killed by Ningcheng's axe. No wonder you are so arrogant. Guifeng, on seeing Ningcheng kill his two subordinates in a single move, before he could even stop him, immediately realized that Ningcheng's cultivation was not any lower than his own. His eyes narrowed, as a strong murderous intent overflowed from him. Standing on the side, the dean of the Tsongqing Academy, Yen Yuankai, couldn't help but shiver. He was very clear about how powerful these two profound core cultivators were. As long as they used one hand, they would be able to grab him by the neck and pick him up. He was a dignified Great Circle true condensation cultivator, yet he did not even have the slightest ability to resist. Moreover, these two powerful people, in front of this young man, not to mention fighting back, they did not even have the ability to detect him. Just how terrifying was this young man's cultivation? When did so many terrifying people come to the Tsongqing Two-Star Academy? This was a remote corner that could not be any more remote. At this moment, he was a little scared in his heart. Those two profound core cultivators had imprisoned many beautiful young female cultivators in the Tsongqing Academy, and even said that they were recruiting outer sect disciples for the major academies of the intermediate class continents. Was this really true? Although his murderous intent was thick, Guifeng did not immediately attack. Ningcheng's actions had surprised him, which made him realize that Ningcheng was not a simple opponent. Ningcheng also did not immediately attack Guifeng, but rather spoke to the more than 100 panicking young female cultivators. I used to be a disciple of the Tsongqing Academy. These panicking female cultivators, on seeing Ningcheng kill the two profound core cultivators, on hearing Ningcheng say that he was also a disciple of the Tsongqing Two-Star Academy, immediately forgot about their fear. Each and every one of them stared at Ningcheng in shock. When did the Tsongqing Two-Star Academy produce such a terrifying disciple? Do you know what kind of fate is waiting for you? You will not be the outer sect disciples of the major academies, but rather having your essence blood extracted, and then extracting the power of hope, to be used as a sacrifice for this beast. Ningcheng pointed at Guifeng, Moreover, you have the spiritual consciousness tag of this beast on your bodies. This spiritual consciousness tag has been cultivating the power of hope in you, waiting for him to extract this power today. Who the hell are you? Gui Feng abruptly interrupted Ning Cheng's words, as the murderous aura crazily erupted from his body. Several of the lower-leveled cultivators who were relatively close to him were directly struck by this violent murderous aura and spat out a mouthful of blood. Gui Feng was shocked in his heart. In this small place, there were still people who knew about the power of hope, and even knew that he was going to extract the power of hope from these female cultivators. All the female cultivators who were looking forward to joining the major academies immediately panicked. It was not that they could not feel it, but they were somewhat uncertain about it. Now that Ning Cheng reminded them, these female cultivators immediately retreated in fear. Remember, the one who killed you is Ning Cheng. As Ning Cheng spoke, the 36 axes had already started revolving around his body. It was you who killed my nephew Yuhai. Gui Feng, on hearing Ning Cheng speak out his name, immediately turned angry. With a wave of his hand, a gloomy pagoda appeared in his hands. A strange sound emerged from this pagoda. These strange sounds were mixed with some inexplicable prayers and chants. This wind pagoda had not yet reached Ning Cheng. When Ning Cheng felt his sea of consciousness buzzing, Yuefeng, you take rule and the others in retreat. Ning Cheng's 36 axes split into 2 axe traces, one golden and one black, as they shot out. Trying to play with me, you're still too tender. Gui Feng roared, while the pagoda in his hands shot out at the same time. The wind pagoda, in just a twinkling of an eye, transformed into a giant pagoda with a height of more than 10 feet, before it smashed towards Ning Cheng. A sound ray surrounded by the power of hope shot out from the body of the pagoda, completely sealing off the 36 small axes that had not yet formed their attack. Ning Cheng's 36 small cosmic true devil axes, under the attack of the sound of the wind pagoda, were continuously tumbling about in the air, but were simply unable to break free from the seal of the sound attack. Ning Cheng felt a kind of extreme discomfort. Although his strength was a lot higher than Gui Feng's, he felt a sense of helplessness. Gui Feng's chilling wind pagoda was like a soft rubber ball. He could only punch this rubber ball until it deformed, but he couldn't break it. Gui Feng felt even more shocked in his heart. He knew that although he was just a cultivator at the first level of Sea Opening Realm, he knew that even a cultivator at the intermediate stage of the Sea Opening Realm would not stand a chance against him. This was his pride. His Dark Wish Pagoda was completely formed from the wishes of virgins, and was incomparably powerful. Once it blasted out with the power of hope, even an ordinary late-stage Sea Opening Realm expert would not be able to block it. This kind of power of hope would directly crush the other party's weapon, and then the Dark Wish Pagoda would fall down and smash the other party into pieces. This was the first time he had seen the Dark Wish Pagoda entangled with the opponent's 36 small axes. This was the first time he saw a wealthy cultivator using 36 top-quality true artifacts at once. As long as he killed Ning Cheng, even if he did not use these 36 axes, he could still sell them for a huge amount of wealth. Gui Feng had a rich combat prowess. Knowing that the Dark Wish Pagoda and Ning Cheng's 36 axes were entangled, he did not hesitate to bring out a huge light cover. This was his biggest trump card. As long as the opponent was covered by it, he could definitely capture the other party alive. Ning Cheng was confident that he had the strength to fight against Crucible Transformation cultivators. However, he was stopped by Gui Feng, a mere first-level Sea Opening Realm cultivator, causing him to feel extremely annoyed in his heart. Almost at the same time that Gui Feng brought out his light cover, he immediately blasted out with his long spear. It was not that the 36 axes could not break apart the opposite party's pagoda, but that he had nowhere to exert his strength. Ning Cheng knew that this kind of entanglement would not last long, and that he would be able to break through this gloomy wind pagoda. However, he had already grown impatient in his heart. The long spear tore through the air, and with a bang sound, it directly shattered Gui Feng's light cover into pieces. Gui Feng looked at the spear shadow piercing through his glabella in shock. He did not even have the time to panic. How could there be such a powerful Sea Opening cultivator? Under this kind of spear intent, he did not even have the ability to resist. Chapter 403. Bang. The space between Gui Feng's eyebrows exploded. At the same time that Gui Feng fell to the ground, the Yin Wind Pagoda suddenly overflowed with Yin Wind. The overflowing Yin Qi quickly dissipated. Plop! A small wooden pagoda fell to the ground. Ningqing raised his hand and grabbed the wooden pagoda, but found that this wooden pagoda did not have any spiritual nature, nor did it have any fluctuations. It was just a wooden pagoda, nothing more. Ningqing guessed that after this Yin Wind Pagoda was sealed, the power of hope inside it would automatically dissipate. After the power of will dissipated, the wooden pagoda returned to its original appearance. It could be seen that this wooden pagoda could store wish power, but the prerequisite was that the owner did not die. As far as the effect was concerned, this wooden pagoda was certainly not as good as the imperial jade seal of the Lani country that he had obtained. Ningqing did not care about it. Even if the Yin wish inside the wooden pagoda had not dissipated, he would still have smashed the wooden pagoda. This kind of inhumane method of collecting the power of hope made Ningqing very disgusted. In his opinion, the way to collect the power of hope should be the same as the first method mentioned by Na Xinlan, which was to collect it using incense. The lord of the Lani country had established a country to collect the power of hope, although Ningqing did not like this method, but he did not hate it. However, Gui Feng's actions, even if it had nothing to do with Ningqing, as long as he had the ability, he would definitely kill the other party. Yen Yuankai greets Lord Ning. Seeing Ningqing kill Gui Feng, and then putting away Gui Feng's ring, the dean of the Cangqin Two-Star Academy hurriedly came up and saluted Ningqing. He recognized Ji Luofei, and his heart began to beat like a drum. He did not know what Ningqing would do to the Cangqin Academy. You wait. Ningqing motioned Yen Yuankai to wait on the side, before speaking to the more than 100 female cultivators who were still standing there in fear. I'm about to leave, but someone has placed a spiritual consciousness imprint of the power of hope on you. If you trust me, then come up and let me help you remove the mark. Ningqing, in front of these people, killed the powerful Gui Feng in a short time. Coupled with Ningqing saying that he was still a student of the Cangqin Academy, no one did not believe him. It took Ningqing more than 2 hours to completely remove the spiritual consciousness imprints of more than 100 female cultivators. After destroying these spiritual consciousness tags, Ningqing then spoke to Yen Yuankai. Dean Yen. Hearing Ningqing address him as Dean, Yen Yuankai felt uneasy, but did not dare to raise any objections. In the past, I was driven out of the Tsangla city, and the Ning clan was also destroyed. As one of the most powerful people in the Tsangla city, surely you should be clear about this matter, right? From Luofei's mouth, Ningqing came to know that the Jian clan and the Qiu clan had joined forces to destroy the Ning clan, while the Yong clan of the royal clan had also acted. However, he wasn't very clear who they were. He did not understand the forces of the Cangqin province. Yen Yuankai hurriedly said, 5 years ago, all the important members of the Yong royal family were killed by unknown people. Even the Jian family and the Qiu family were massacred until rivers of blood flowed. After that, although the imperial family still belonged to the Yong family, it was a distant branch of the Yong family. The Jian clan and the Qiu clan have suffered a great loss in strength, and have gone far away from home. The Tsangla city no longer has these two families. Yen Yuankai did not directly answer Ningqing's words, but Ningqing already understood his meaning. That was, there were 3 families that had framed the Ning mansion in the past, and these 3 families were now in decline. Of course, there was also another layer of meaning, which was to ask Ningqing to be magnanimous and let go of the Yong royal family. Ji Luofei walked to Ningqing's side and whispered, "What Dean Yen said is true. When I came back, I had already asked about it. It should be that someone came back to help the Ning clan take revenge, and then left." Help the Ning clan take revenge? Besides him and Luofei, who else could it be? Ningqing thought for a long time, but could not think of anything. Let's go. Ningqing brought out a flight-type low-grade true artifact. The flight-type low-grade true artifact quickly rushed out of the Tsangla city. Ning Ruolan's cultivation was the worst. As such, she was anxious to cultivate as soon as she boarded the airship. Nan Yuefang had just advanced to the profound core realm, and was also anxious to stabilize her cultivation. Although Yang Honghua's cultivation was not as tight as Nan Yuefang's, But he also knew that if he wanted to go to the Tian continent, he could not fall behind too much. Fortunately, this airship was very large, and had a total of 8 rooms, so there was more than enough room for everyone. Ji Luofei did not go to cultivate, she accompanied Ning Cheng to sit at the front of the airship. She wanted to ask Ning Cheng to help her go to the Dawn Forest to look for the whereabouts of her father. Luofei, do you remember the fighting pot? Not waiting for Ji Luofei to speak, Ning Cheng had already asked a question. Ji Luofei gave an sound. I remember. At that time, in order to help Ning Cheng gather qi, and for the sake of obtaining a qi gathering stone as a reward, she had gone to the fighting pot to fight, and had almost died in the fighting pot. Luofei, you were almost killed there. I said that once my cultivation was high enough, I would definitely destroy the fighting pot. It was a pity that the fighting pot was gone. I don't even know who destroyed it. Ning Cheng spoke with some regret. His spiritual consciousness not only could not find the fighting pot, but he also could not find Gu Yiming. Fortunately, he had killed Gu Fei in the past. Ji Luofei leaned on Ning Cheng and spoke in a soft voice. The fighting pot was the property of the Qiu clan. When the Qiu clan escaped from the Tsangla city, the fighting pot was demolished by the Qiu clan's enemies. The airship flew very slowly, causing Ji Luofei to feel at ease. When she was disfigured in the Tsangla city, she had never thought that she would have such a happy day. I have a matter. Ning Cheng and Ji Luofei spoke almost at the same time. Ji Luofei gently looked at Ning Cheng and spoke. You speak first. Originally he had mustered up the courage to speak, but was interrupted by Ji Luofei, causing Ning Cheng to hesitate for a long time. He did not know if directly mentioning Shi Qianghua to Ji Luofei would destroy this kind of relationship. Feeling Ning Cheng's hesitation, Ji Luofei's body slightly stiffened. She vaguely had a bad feeling. Ning Cheng knew that he had to speak. Luofei, her name is Shi Qianghua. He did not say anything else. Ning Cheng had only said a name, but Ji Luofei completely understood it. She was somewhat silent, but her heart was not very uncomfortable. At least Ning Cheng was willing to tell her. In the Zhangqin province, it was normal for a man to have 3 or 4 wives. If he did not have 3 or 4 wives, then it would be abnormal. Even her grandfather and Ning Cheng's grandfather, both of them had many wives and concubines. The reason why she was silent was because she did not like Ning Cheng having 3 or 4 wives. This had nothing to do with jealousy, but she just wanted to be alone with Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng sighed. How he and Shi Qianghua got to know each other. How he was affected by Suing Day's burning flames of lust, and how he managed to stimulate the yang qi in the small spiritual domain. Finally, when Shi Qianghua's cultivation was far superior to his, she ended up sacrificing herself to help him. Hearing that Shi Qianghua had sacrificed herself to save Ning Cheng several times, Ji Luofei's eyes turned red. She was a sentimental woman. When she heard that someone was willing to sacrifice themselves to save Ning Cheng, she began to acknowledge Shi Qianghua in her heart. When Ji Luofei heard the tense part, she hugged Ning Cheng even tighter, as she panicked in her heart. Unexpectedly there was such a shameless woman like Suing Day. Did they still have any face? Not only that, but there was also the Severing Emotions Dao sect, an even more shameless sect. Thank you, elder sister Qianghua. If not for her, I might not have been able to see you again. Ji Luofei spoke with some fear. At this moment, she had completely acknowledged Shi Qianghua in her heart. Ning Cheng gratefully kissed Ji Luofei in his arms, although he wanted to say something in his heart, but he was unable to speak. Elder sister Qianghua should not have known that she was going to die. That's why she treated you like that. Or rather, her death was not the main reason why she gave her to you. Ji Luofei suddenly thought of something and spoke out in a low voice. At that time, I must have thought that she was Suing Day's master, and the two of them had the same thoughts, so. Ning Cheng spoke out in a guilty voice. If Shi Qianghua had not become his lover in the end, he would have felt even more guilty in his heart. Ji Luofei shook her head and spoke. No, there must be other reasons behind it. At that time, you were in the profound core realm, while elder sister Qianghua was in the crucible transformation realm. Are you sure that your technique could seal her? Ning Cheng was shocked. He was sure that he had sealed Shi Qianghua at that time. However, when he tore off Shi Qianghua's clothes, Shi Qianghua, in addition to feeling shocked, also had a trace of hesitation. It was that moment of hesitation that allowed him to succeed. Don't think too much about it. When we meet elder sister Qianghua, we can ask her again. As Ji Luofei spoke, her voice trembled, while her body turned soft. She was Ning Cheng's fiancée. As such, she should have been the one to replace Shi Qianghua. Ning Cheng suddenly thought of something. He took out a white jade bracelet and placed it on Ji Luofei's hand and spoke. Luofei, this is what Qianghua asked me to bring to you. It is something that her mother left for her. Ji Luofei instantly understood. Although Shi Qianghua and Ning Cheng had already become husband and wife, but since she had lent Ning Cheng the most precious bracelet to her, it clearly showed her intentions. Shi Qianghua, also liked Ning Cheng. The reason why she put the bracelet in her hand was because she hoped that she would like Ning Cheng like her. Elder sister Qianghua is definitely the kindest person. Ji Luofei touched the white jade bracelet in her hand. There was no longer even half a shred of estrangement between her and Shi Qianghua in her heart. Ning Cheng could feel Ji Luofei's agitated mood, causing his hand to slightly tighten. Ji Luofei immediately sobered up. She quickly spoke up. Ning Cheng, I want to see if my father is still in the Dawn Forest. If not, I want to go to the Yuan continent to have a look. I also want to go to the Yuan continent to have a look. I will circle a few laps over the Dawn Forest. As long as I can see the situation, I will immediately land the airship. Ning Cheng comforted her. His spiritual consciousness was now extremely powerful. The airship hovered over the Dawn Forest. Even if it wanted to check the entire Dawn Forest, it would still be possible. A few days later, the airship finally left the Dawn Forest. Ji Luofei was silent. She also knew that after so many years, even if her father had fallen in the Dawn Forest, there would not be any trace left behind. After passing through the Dawn Forest was the Yuan continent. When Ning Cheng arrived at the Yuan continent, he immediately thought of Taishu Shi. Taishu Shi was the first friend that he had made, but because of Sun Shun's pursuit, the two of them were separated in the Yuan continent's Shijia city. Therefore, after Ning Cheng arrived at the Yuan continent, he deliberately descended the airship and swept out with his spiritual consciousness. He wanted to see if Taishu Shi had gone to the Hua continent, and if he was still in the Yuan continent. Liani? Ning Cheng did not expect that he would not be able to find Taishu Shi, but would unexpectedly see Liani. Liani was the woman that Taishu Shi admired. He had even helped Taishu Shi to redeem Lian Yi from the Yishui courtyard in the Shijia city. But at this time, Liani was not even as good as when she was in the Yishui courtyard. If not for Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness being incomparably powerful, he would not even be able to recognize Lian Yi. Chapter 404. Luofei, wait for me on the airship. I saw an acquaintance and want to go down and have a look. After Ning Cheng saw Lian Yi, he immediately stood up and spoke. Luofei quickly stood up and spoke. I'll go with you. Ning Cheng did not care about it, and directly sent a sound transmission to Yang Honghua, asking Yang Honghua to come out and guard the airship suspended in the air. He then brought Luofei down from the airship. Lian Yi, I really didn't expect to see you here. Ning Cheng brought Luofei into Lian Yi's shabby thatched cottage and greeted her with joy. Lian Yi looked up at Ning Cheng in a daze. Her cultivation was simply too low. In the past, she was at Qi Gathering 5th level, and now she was still at Qi Gathering 5th level. Moreover, she and Ning Cheng were not very familiar with each other. As such, she could not recognize Ning Cheng at all. Then her gaze fell on Ji Luofei, and her eyes flashed with a hint of amazement. Lian Yi's long black hair had long since disappeared. At this time, not only was her hair dry, but there were also a few scars on her face. His skin was no longer as smooth as before, and his eyes were no longer as bright as before. When Ning Cheng saw this, he secretly sighed in his heart. He was sure that Lian Yi had experienced a lot of hardships, otherwise a cultivator at the Qi Gathering 5th level. It was impossible for her to be like this. I am Ning Cheng, a friend of Stone. Initially, when Stone and I went to the Yishui courtyard to look for you, we took you and Miss Hanyu away from the Yishui courtyard. Afterwards, we separated, and have never seen each other again. Ning Cheng quickly spoke up. You are big brother Ning. Lian Yi finally recognized Ning Cheng and spoke with a hint of surprise and excitement. Ningqing quickly spoke up. Yes, I am Ningqing, why aren't Stone and Han Yu here? When Lian Yi heard Ningqing ask about Shitu and Han Yu, her face immediately turned stiff, and tears started flowing down her cheeks. Ningqing's heart sank. He knew that Taishu Shi and Lu Hanyu were most likely in some kind of trouble. Before he could continue asking questions, a boy about 10 years old rushed in with a hare in his hand. Mother, I hunted a hare. Mother, why are you crying? Who are they? Ningqing looked at the little boy and felt a little puzzled in his heart. Did Lian have a child? Pingho, hurry up and greet Uncle Ning. He is your father's best friend. Lian pulled the little boy and spoke. You are Uncle Ning? I've often heard from my mother that you sent a bad guy who bullied my mother flying with a kick. The little boy immediately cried out, his tone full of surprise and joy. When Ningqing saw that this little boy did not have any spiritual chi fluctuations, he immediately knew that he had never cultivated before. The boy's hair was a mess, and his face was like a cat's. Big brother, his name is Taishu Pingho. When Lian spoke out the little boy's name, Ningqing immediately knew that this little boy should be Taishu Shi's son. Peng, the door to the firewood courtyard was pushed open once again, and a sturdy middle-aged man walked in. Ling daughter, a noble has come to the Gong residence today. Tidy up a bit, you're going to rehearse the dance immediately. Lian quickly bowed and spoke. Stewardly, my elder brother is here today, I cannot go over. You're courting death. The middle-aged man never thought that Lian would dare to resist today. This kind of thing had never happened before. As he spoke, the middle-aged man reached out to grab Lian's chest. Ningqing's eyes flashed with a hint of anger. He did not understand the relationship between this person and Lian. But no matter what, he couldn't grab a woman's breasts. Seeing that the steward's hand was about to grab Lian's chest, Ningqing immediately pulled Lian back. The middle-aged man's hand grabbed empty air, causing him to immediately glare at Ningqing and speak. No matter who you are, since you dare to interfere in the affairs of the Gong residence, then... The middle-aged man's words suddenly stopped, as he saw Ji Luofei's appearance. He had seen a lot of women, and the number of beautiful women in the Gong residence was even more uncountable. Even he himself had more than a dozen beautiful concubines. Although he had seen a woman standing behind Ningqing when he came here, he did not care about it. But when he saw Ji Luofei's appearance, he immediately felt shocked. In this kind of place, he unexpectedly saw such a beautiful woman. The steward's anger instantly disappeared. He immediately threw Lian to the side and cupped his fists towards Ningqing and spoke. Our Gong residence wants this woman. You can name the price. Ningqing sneered. Originally, he did not know what the relationship between Lian and this steward was, which was why he did not make a move. Now that this fellow dared to have ideas about Luofei, no matter what their relationship was, Ningqing would not let it slide. He raised his hand and shot out 2 fireballs. These 2 fireballs instantly fell into the hands of the steward. Chi-chi. A burnt smell came over, causing the steward to scream out in madness. He could only watch helplessly as the fireballs on his arms slowly burned up his palms, and then continued to burn up his forearms. Ah! A shrill scream erupted. The steward frantically slapped the ground, but the flames did not extinguish. Not only did they not extinguish, but they also did not spread. Instead, they continued to slowly burn up his arms. Apart from feeling a terrible pain, he simply could not do anything about it. The strange thing was that this kind of pain could not kill him. Senior, please spare my life. Please spare my life. Finding that the flames on his arms could not be extinguished, the steward knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. Ningqing looked at Lian and asked, Who is this person? The shocked Lian finally reacted and spoke with a hateful voice. He is a small steward of the Gong mansion. Unfortunately, I can't take Pingho out of here, and can only let him bully me. Ningqing immediately understood, and spoke to the still screaming steward. You go back and tell the people from the Gong mansion that I will come over to collect the debt. Fuck off. Knowing that Ningqing would not help him extinguish the flames, the steward immediately rushed out of the small courtyard, while his shrill screams gradually faded away. Taishu Pingho, on seeing Ningqing burn the steward, did not show any fear. Not only that, but his eyes grew brighter as he looked at Ningqing. Ningqing pulled Ji Luofei and spoke to Lian Yi. This is my wife Ji Luofei. Then he turned to Luofei and introduced her. Luofei, this is my friend Taishu Shi's wife Lian Yi. Lian Yi bowed her head in shame and spoke. Lian Yi greets sister Luofei. Ningqing took out 2 medicinal pills and handed them to Ji Luofei. Luofei, take Lian Yi inside and eat these 2 medicinal pills. Then change into a new set of clothes and come out. Ningqing immediately understood that Lian Yi had destroyed her appearance. Taishu Shi had disappeared, and she had to live alone with Taishu Shi's son in this kind of place. It must have been a torment. Do you know where your father went? After Lian Yi went inside, Ningqing asked Taishu Pingho in a soft voice. Taishu Pingho shook his head. I don't know, but my mother said that my father would come back here to find us. Ningqing asked some other questions, and vaguely understood that the biggest clan in this area was the Gong clan. A member of the Gong clan had an extraordinary status in the Blue Flame 4-star Academy in the Yuan continent. Lian Yi, along with Taishu Pingho, had a hard time living here, not to mention cultivation. Big brother. When Lian Yi came out again, she had already restored her previous appearance. Although her face still looked a bit pale, her essence chi had not suffered any damage. As long as she had enough resources to cultivate, she could still make progress. And Lian Yi, after we separated, what did you encounter? Ningqing asked. After some time, although Lian Yi was still sobbing, she was able to speak out the reason. After Big Brother stopped that Sun Shun, Shirtu brought me and Hanyu, but we encountered a beast that led the way. Because of that beast, we ended up deviating from our path. By the time we understood it, a few days had already passed since the appointed time with Big Brother. Shirtu immediately brought us to the edge of the Thunderfall Desert. Shirtu was very careful. He had not even reached the edge when he saw the wanted poster for Big Brother. We were afraid that Big Brother would end up being wanted by others and would not be able to deal with him, so we also turned into adventurers and wandered around the edge of the Thunderfall Desert. In the next few months, there was no news from Big Brother, plus Shirtu had already reached the true condensation realm. We were ready to enter the Thunderfall Desert, but at this time I was pregnant. Lian Yi lowered her head. Ningqing was also helpless. 2 people who liked each other getting pregnant, he could not do anything about it. Later, under the persuasion of Hanyu, we decided to wait until I gave birth to Pingho before leaving. We had just shown up, when we were immediately targeted. I heard that it was Sun Shun's master. Even if Shirtu had already reached the true condensation realm, the disparity between him and Sun Shun's master was still too far. In order to protect me and Hanyu, Shirtu led Sun Shun's master away by himself. Lian Yi spoke while sobbing. Ningqing's heart also sank. Sun Shun was not a simple person. He had to spend a lot of effort to kill him. It meant that Sun Shun's master was definitely much more powerful. Taishu Shi led Sun Shun's master away. It seems that it was a disaster. After we separated, we were once again chased by others, and finally Hanyu and I were separated. After I gave birth to Pingho, I took Pingho to live here. I was looking forward to the day when Shirtu would find me, but I did not expect that I would meet Big Brother. I thought that Big Brother had gone to the Hua continent. Lian Yi finished speaking in one breath, as she felt relieved in her heart. In any case, since Big Brother Ning came, then considering his friendship with Shirtu, he would definitely take away Pingho. As long as Pingho was fine, she felt relieved. Young master, save me. The stewardly howled miserably as he rushed into a luxurious mansion with 2 balls of flames. The few people in the living room immediately stood up in shock, and could not believe their eyes as they looked at the stewardly, whose arm had been burnt off. What happened? A handsome-looking man asked. He could see that the steward Li's arm was burnt by the true essence fire through the bone maggots technique. I went to recruit a woman to dance, but she was committing adultery with a man, and I did not say anything about it. I saw that she had a devastatingly beautiful woman with her. I wanted to bring her to the young master, but that man immediately laid his hands on me. The stewardly howled as he spoke. Humph! The handsome-looking man raised his hands and shot out 2 balls of water towards the arms of the stewardly. It would have been better if he had not shot out those 2 balls of water, but as soon as he shot out those 2 balls of water, the flames on the arms of the stewardly seemed to have been poured with oil, and instantly burst out. The raging flames, in just a blink of an eye, surrounded a magnificent mansion. Quickly retreat. With a scream, all the people in the living room rushed outside. Chapter 405. Brother Gong, there are quite a few capable people in this small place of yours. They actually managed to burn down your Gong residence through a manager. After escaping from the residence, another man with slightly dark skin laughed mischievously. A trace of killing intent appeared in the eyes of the handsome youth who was addressed as Brother Gong. I know that your daughter hid her appearance. It was only because I wanted to break through to the essence building realm that I did not have the time to take care of her. I might as well give this woman to Brother Guang. The dark-skinned man laughed out loud. I'm actually quite interested in the devastatingly beautiful woman that the steward mentioned just now. I wonder what kind of woman she is. As for your daughter, I, Guang Pengkai, won't take her away from Brother Gong. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept towards the burning Gong mansion, and seeing two young men in the essence building realm coming over, he knew that the other party had come to die. Lian Yi, who is that Steward Li? Steward Li is a small steward of the Gong mansion. The Gong mansion has a clansman by the name of Gong Yuqi in the Blue Flame 4-Star Academy. I heard that he has already advanced to the essence building realm. As Lian Yi spoke till here, she paused slightly. She knew that Gong Yuqi would need some time to rush over from the Blue Flame 4-Star Academy. However, she had to tell Ning Cheng about the background of the Gong clan. If Ning Cheng's cultivation had not reached the essence building realm, then he would have to quickly leave this place. Not bad. You even managed to find out my name and cultivation. I wonder if you managed to find out that elder brother Guang, who is already at the essence building 7th level, has also come? Gong Yuqi's sarcastic voice arrived. Lian Yi looked at Gong Yuqi and Guang Pengkai standing at the entrance with a pale complexion. She did not expect that Gong Yuqi would arrive so quickly. According to her thoughts, Gong Yuqi would need at least half a day to arrive from the Blue Flame 4-Star Academy. She immediately understood. Just now, when Steward Li said that a noble had come to the Gong residence, he was definitely talking about these two people. A single Gong Yuqi was already terrifying enough, but now he even had to add in Guang Pengkai, who was at the 7th level of essence building realm. Lian Yi did not dare to think about it anymore. She guessed that even if Ning Cheng was not in the essence building realm, he should be in the late stages of the true condensation realm. For a late-stage true condensation cultivator to fight against two essence building realm cultivators, it was undoubtedly like throwing an egg against a stone. Well, it looks like I didn't guess wrong. After restoring my appearance. Gong Yuqi suddenly paused as he saw Ji Luofei. However, since Guang Pengkai came in, his eyes never left Ji Luofei. At this moment, when Gong Yuqi saw Ji Luofei's appearance, he suddenly regretted bringing Guang Pengkai here. Haha, you really are a beauty capable of causing the downfall of nations. Guang Pengkai laughed, as he took a step forward and directly grabbed Ji Luofei's hand. Ning Cheng couldn't help but laugh. These country bumpkins who had never seen the world thought that once they reached the essence building realm, they would be able to sweep away everything. He raised his hand again and threw out 2 fireballs. Little bastard, daring to use fireballs to deal with this grandpa. Guang Pengkai grinned. He was just about to grab and extinguish Ning Cheng's fireballs when he found that he could not move at all. He could only watch as the 2 fireballs fell into his palm. The grin from a moment ago had turned into panic. As an essence-building cultivator from a 4-star academy, how could Guang Pengkai not know how terrifying this matter was? The other party had to be at least a Soul Essence Realm cultivator to be able to achieve such a feat. Soul Essence Realm? This was enough to destroy 100 Blue Flame 4-star academies. Extreme fear welled up in his heart. Guang Pengkai wanted to kneel down and beg for mercy, but he immediately found that not only could he not kneel down, he could not even make a single sound. Dead, I'm going to die. I'm crazy. I even dared to provoke a Soul Essence cultivator. Gong Yuqi, on seeing Guang Pengkai grab the 2 fireballs, gave a faint smile and spoke. In front of this kind of woman, you are still able to hold your temper. I finally understand why I am not as good as Elder Brother Guang. However, Elder Brother Guang, let's not play around. Just give the fireballs to this guy. Gong Yuqi had not finished his words when he felt that something was wrong. Guang Pengkai did not seem to be playing around, as Guang Pengkai's face was filled with panic. At this time, 2 more fireballs flew towards his hands, while he heard Ning Cheng's voice. I really did not know that an essence-building 7th-level senior would come. Gong Yuqi suddenly panicked in his heart. He felt that things were not as he had imagined. Unfortunately, he was also unable to put up even half a shred of resistance, as the 2 fireballs directly burnt his palms. Senior, please spare my life. This junior had eyes but failed to see. Guang Pengkai, who could finally speak, knelt down on the ground and begged for mercy. Gong Yuqi, whose entire body was torn apart by the fireballs, gave out a pitiful scream. He instantly understood what was going on, and knelt down even faster than Guang Pengkai. Elder brother. Liani looked at Gong Yuqi and Guang Pengkai in shock and called out in shock. Ningqing looked at Liani and asked, Liani, do you know who Sun Shun's master was? The one who chased after Shirtu? I know his name is Song Tong, but I don't know where he is. Liani quickly replied. I know Song Tong. I beg senior to spare my life. Guang Pengkai screamed in pain. Not waiting for Ningqing to speak, he answered himself. Song Tong went to the Hua continent. He said that he wanted to go to the Lu continent. Ningqing raised his hand, causing the flames on Gong Yuqi and Guang Pengkai's bodies to instantly erupt, and in just a blink of an eye, submerged the 2 of them. Taishu Pingho, on seeing Ningqing burn 2 powerful cultivators with just a raise of his hand, couldn't help but gulp down a mouthful of saliva, his eyes filled with worship. Ningqing looked at Liani and asked, Liani, I want to go to the Tian continent. Shirtu should not be in the Yuan continent. I think it would be best for you, Pingho, to come with me to the Tian continent. This is not a place to stay for long. Liani immediately knelt down, but Ji Luofei quickly pulled her back. Ningqing spoke up. Liani, Shirtu and I are friends. You don't have to worry about this. Elder brother, I want to ask you to accept Pingho as your disciple. Liani spoke with a hint of expectation. She could see that Ningcheng's cultivation definitely exceeded the essence-building realm. Taishu Pingho also looked at Ningqing eagerly. He also wanted to worship Ningcheng as a master. Ningqing showed a smile. You can rest assured. Although I can't accept Pingho as my disciple, I can help him find a good master. Ningqing knew that his own cultivation method was not suitable for taking in disciples. His cultivation method was the mysterious yellow formless. How could he pass it on to others? As long as he went to the Tian continent's Rainbow Fall Sword sect, he would have plenty of masters. Is it the Lu continent? Liani thought that Ningcheng had misspoken and took the initiative to ask. It is not the Lu continent, it is the Tian continent. After arriving at the Lu continent, we will have to cross the Yixing Ocean to reach there. Ningcheng explained. He knew that Liani definitely did not know about the Tian continent. Cross the Yixing Ocean? Liani was startled and did not dare to ask again. After Liani boarded the airship, she realized that Ningcheng's airship had been parked in the sky. Seeing the airship quickly leaving, Liani finally understood why Ningcheng had the confidence to go to the Tian continent. Lu continent Gui Yuan City. Rather than calling it a city, it would be better to call it a clan. The Gui Yuan City had always been the nest of the 9-star aristocratic family, the Gui clan. With such a formidable heritage, it allowed the Gui clan to be ranked as one of the 3 9-star academies in the Lu continent. Moreover, their strength was not the slightest bit weaker than the Dragon and Phoenix Academy. The reason for this was that the Gui clan had 3 crucible transformation cultivators, as well as several sea-opening realm cultivators. The most powerful aspect of a 9-star academy was, of course, the number of crucible transformation cultivators it had. However, there were very few crucible transformation cultivators who were truly in charge of such matters. Therefore, one could say that a 9-star academy's sea-opening realm cultivator and soul-sculpting realm cultivator represented the heritage of that 9-star academy. As a 9-star academy, the Gui clan had a total of 11 sea-opening realm cultivators. However, today the atmosphere in the Gui Yuan City was somewhat solemn. Only the core members of the Gui clan knew that the Gui clan's most powerful sea-opening realm cultivator, Gui Feng, had fallen. Gui Feng's cultivation was only at the first level of sea-opening realm. Among the many sea-opening realm cultivators in the Gui clan, he was simply unremarkable. However, with his cultivation and strength, even a sea-opening 8th-level cultivator from the Gui clan would not dare to say that he could win against Gui Feng for sure. It was all because Gui Feng had a powerful magical weapon, the Netherworld Wish Pagoda. From this, it could be seen that Gui Feng had a bright future ahead of him. What's more, Gui Feng was the younger brother of Gui Yuan City's city lord, Gui Zhong. This kind of relationship made Gui Feng's status in Gui Yuan City even more extraordinary. Such an incomparably powerful sea-opening realm cultivator unexpectedly fell, without even the slightest sign. After the fall of Gui Yuan City's #1 genius, Gui Yuhai, this was the second important person to fall. Unfortunately, at this time Gui Zhong was not in the Lu continent. Even the Gui clan's crucible transformation elder, Gui Zhongqing, was not in the Gui Yuan City. The only crucible transformation cultivator remaining in the Gui Yuan City was Gui Ba, who had just advanced. Today's meeting of the Gui clan was presided over by Gui Ba. When he came to know that Gui Feng had fallen, he simply did not believe it. In the Lu continent, or rather, in the scope of the 9 continents, who would dare to kill Gui Feng? Or rather, who else could kill Gui Feng? However, the fact was that Gui Feng had truly died, and even his spiritual card had shattered into pieces. Gui Ba was a cultivation madman. As such, he did not like such meetings. Currently in the Gui Yuan City, his status and cultivation were the highest. As such, he had no choice but to preside over such meetings. No matter who killed my Gui clan's Gui Feng, my Gui clan will definitely crush his bones and scatter his ashes. Since the other party could kill Gui Feng, it shows that this person is not an ordinary cultivator. It is most likely a crucible transformation cultivator, or at least a peak sea-opening realm cultivator. Gui Ba sat in the seat of honor and spoke in a gentle tone. However, the anger in his heart almost caused him to spew out fire. Elder Ba, I don't think that the one who killed Elder Gui Feng is necessarily a crucible transformation cultivator. The Wu Nian Academy and the Dragon and Phoenix Academy both have crucible transformation cultivators, and recently, the Blue Cloud 8-Star Academy also has a crucible transformation cultivator. I don't think that they would dare to lay their hands on my Gui Yuan City, let alone Elder Gui Feng. A middle-aged man with a white face stood up and spoke in a neither fast nor slow manner. Seeing everyone's eyes focusing on him, the middle-aged man continued. I don't know if everyone knows about the matter of Duanzhang being killed some time ago. Duanzhang was an expert at the first level of sea-opening realm. Which ordinary person could kill him? I suspect that the one who killed Duanzhang and Elder Gui Feng might be the same person. Elder Gui Kuang, can you quickly tell us who he is? Gui Ba suddenly stood up. He did not like to think about problems. The best thing to do was to tell him who the murderer was, so that he could directly slap him flat. The middle-aged man called Gui Kuang gave a faint smile and spoke. I do not know who it is, but it is very simple to find out. You just have to find the Dragon and Phoenix Academy's Na Xinlan. Chapter 406. Na Xinlan. I know this person. She advanced to the first level of sea expansion not long ago. What does this have to do with her? Gui Ba asked doubtfully. Gui Kuang spoke up unhurriedly. A few months ago, when Elder Taoist Ba was still in seclusion, someone took a few boxes of undergarments to the Dragon and Phoenix Academy to look for Na Xinlan, saying that these undergarments were from the Gui clan. The owners of the undergarments were innocent female cultivators who were killed by the Gui clan. Because of this matter, we wanted to ask Grand Elder Ba to come out of seclusion. But later this matter was suppressed by the Dragon and Phoenix Academy, and there was no more news about Na Xinlan. Afterwards, our Gui clan also carefully investigated the matter, but did not know who was the one who sent the undergarments to Na Xinlan. Because Grand Elder Ba is in closed-door cultivation, this matter has been delayed. Humph, just a few women died, yet you want to deal with my Gui Yuan City. Gui Ba's complexion turned cold. For him, anyone with a lower cultivation than him was an ant, not to mention a female cultivator with no status. Even if a continent's female cultivator died, he wouldn't even bat an eyelid. Gui Kuang was well aware of Gui Ba's temperament, and knew that there was no way to explain this matter. For Gui Ba, the fist was the reason. Whoever dared to speak ill of the Gui Yuan city, they deserved to die. He and Gui Ba were different. He knew that if the Dragon and Phoenix Academy really wanted to use this matter as an excuse, then even if they could not topple the Gui Yuan city, it would still cause the prestige of the Gui Yuan city to plummet. Because of a little trifle. It was not as if a 9-star academy had never been destroyed before. In the past, the Lu continent's first academy, the Kuan-Yun Academy, had also been destroyed because of a little trifle. Gui Kuang had no choice but to explain. I heard that one of Na Xinlan's disciples' undergarments were also among them. I'm afraid she suspects that her disciple has fallen into the hands of the Gui clan. That's why. Gui Ba nodded. In that case, you can go and ask that Na Xinlan who gave her those undergarments. If this woman doesn't know her place, then. Seeing Gui Ba reveal a cold and sharp look, Gui Kuang suddenly discovered that he had been underestimating this grand elder. My master is in seclusion. May I ask if Senior Gui has any important matters? Jiao Lingwei faced Gui Kuang, who was smiling wholeheartedly. After returning the greeting, she asked in a very vigilant manner. The Gui clan and the Dragon and Phoenix Academy had always had a variety of grudges between them. Moreover, Gui Kuang was not a simple figure in the Gui clan. It stood to reason that his master's status in the Dragon and Phoenix Academy was not as high as Gui Kuang's status in the Gui clan. So how could such a person like Gui Kuang come to visit his master? It doesn't matter. I'll come back in a few days, Gui Kuang said indifferently. After Gui Kuang walked far away, Na Xinlan came out with an ugly expression on her face. Master, the person who just came is Gui Yuan City's Gui Kuang. I have seen him once before. Seeing her master come out, Jiao Lingwei hurriedly reported. Na Xinlan nodded. I know that this person is a smiling tiger, a sinister and cunning person. He must have come here because of Ning Cheng's undergarments. The last time the dean asked me where I got them from, I did not say anything. I don't know why the Gui clan only came to inquire now. Logically speaking, they should have received the news very soon. What should we do? Jiao Lingwei asked worriedly. Na Xinlan was silent for a long time, before she slowly spoke. Although Ning Cheng is good, but I think he should still be at the intermediate stages of the soul-sculpting realm. At that time, Ning Cheng should have used some means to kill Duan Qi if the people from the Gui clan came to know that it was him. It would have been difficult for him to escape. The Gui clan would not even need to dispatch a crucible transformation cultivator, and would be able to easily kill Ning Cheng. After saying that, Na Xinlan sighed. She knew that she could not help Ning Cheng at all. The only thing she could do now was to delay the Gui clan from knowing that Ning Cheng had returned. Even if there was no matter about the undergarments, Ning Cheng had already killed Gui Yuhai, and had already formed a deep enmity with the Gui clan. Nearly a month quickly passed by, and Gui Kuang once again arrived at the Dragon and Phoenix Academy. This time he did not directly look for Na Xinlan, but looked for the Dragon and Phoenix Academy's Si Qishui. Elder Brother Kuang, what a rare visitor. I was just thinking about when to visit Elder Brother Kuang. I did not expect that Elder Brother Kuang would personally come to visit. Please sit down, please sit down. Si Qishui smiled as he led Gui Kuang into the living room of his residence, while personally pouring a cup of spiritual tea for Gui Kuang. In his heart, he was very puzzled as to why Gui Kuang would come to look for him. Although he and Gui Kuang knew each other, they did not have a good friendship, let alone a visit. I heard that Elder Brother Qishui wanted to go into seclusion to advance to the late stages of the sea opening realm, so I specifically came here to congratulate you on your success. Gui Kuang laughed and spoke in a very enthusiastic manner. Si Qishui felt even more puzzled in his heart. He had been stuck at the 6th level of the sea opening realm for over 100 years, and was unable to break through to the late stages of the sea opening realm. It was impossible for Gui Kuang to be so kind as to come here to congratulate him. Did he deliberately come to mock him? However, Si Qishui had been in the Dragon and Phoenix Academy for many years. What kind of scene had he not seen? Even if Gui Kuang came to mock him, he would not take it to heart. At least his cultivation was a level higher than Gui Kuang's. Haha, Elder Brother Kuang must be joking. Everyone knows that I was stuck at the 6th level of the sea opening realm for 100 years. There is nothing to hide about it. Si Qishui spoke with a fake smile. Gui Kuang took a sip of the spiritual tea, but did not take it seriously and spoke. Elder brother Qishui misunderstood my meaning. I think that if elder brother Qishui wanted to advance to the late stages of the sea opening realm, then it would definitely be possible. Si Qishui finally understood that Gui Kuang did not come to mock him. He immediately asked in doubt, "What does elder brother Kuang mean?" Elder brother Qishui also knows that my Gui Yuan city has a good treasure, that is the 7-colored mirage stone. If I lend the 7-colored mirage stone to elder brother Qishui, then surely elder brother Qishui would be able to break through this small bottleneck, right? Gui Kuang gave a smile and spoke calmly. Although Gui Kuang was calm, but Si Qishui could not remain calm. He stood up in shock and spoke with a trembling voice. "Elder brother Kuang, are you willing to lend me the 7-colored mirage stone?" The 7-colored mirage stone could help in breaking through bottlenecks. Most of the cultivators in the soul essence realm and above were aware of it. For cultivators below the sea opening realm, when they encountered a bottleneck in their cultivation, they could use the 7-colored mirage stone or above to refine a mirage realm pill, using the method of passing off the fake as the genuine one to break through to the next realm. Of course, this would require them to waste a mirage stone, but there was another way, that is to not waste a mirage stone, and instead use the mirage stone to arrange a mirage realm array. Although this method was far inferior to the mirage realm pill, but it was still one of the methods to break through to the next realm, especially for those cultivators who could not break through for a long time. It was even more useful. Gui Kuang once again gave a light smile. Brother Qishui's words are wrong. The 7-colored mirage stone is not mine, rather it is the Gui clan's. I have no right to lend it to you. Si Qishui had already understood what was going on. He hid his excited expression and spoke in a calm tone. "What does brother Gui need me to do? If it is within my ability, and also does not harm the Dragon and Phoenix Academy, then I, Si Qishui, will absolutely not decline it." He knew that the Gui clan definitely had something in mind, otherwise it would be impossible for them to lend a 7-colored mirage stone to a deputy dean of his Dragon and Phoenix Academy. Gui Kuang gave a laugh. My Gui Yuan city and the Dragon and Phoenix Academy are of the same breath. How could we possibly harm the Dragon and Phoenix Academy? A few months ago, someone brought a few boxes of undergarments to junior apprentice sister Na Xinlan, saying that I came from the Gui Yuan city. That person wanted to use these things to frame my Gui Yuan city. Although my Gui Yuan city is magnanimous, we will not be so magnanimous to the point of letting others frame us. We only need junior apprentice sister Na Xinlan to hand over the identity of the person who framed my Gui Yuan city. Brother Kuang, although I am the deputy dean of the Dragon and Phoenix Academy, but I am also unable to order. Si Qishui's words had not yet finished when he was interrupted by Gui Kuang. I didn't make it clear just now, causing brother Qishui to misunderstand. I only want junior apprentice sister Xinlan to say who the other party is. Originally, I wanted to ask junior apprentice sister Xinlan, but how could that junior apprentice sister always be in seclusion? I have no choice but to ask brother Qishui for help. Hearing that he only needed to call out Na Xinlan and answer a few questions from the opposite party, Si Qishui immediately laughed and spoke. Brother Kuang's matters are naturally my matters. Is there even a need to mention it? Let's go, I'll bring brother Kuang to look for junior apprentice sister Xinlan. Is this the Lu continent? Yang Honghua stood on the airship and asked with some excitement. He had been yearning for the Lu continent for a long time. He had heard that the Lu continent was filled with spirit stones, as well as magical weapons. Cultivating there was as easy as breathing. At this time, not only Yang Honghua, even Nan Yuefang who had stopped cultivating was also somewhat eager to go down and have a look. However, Ning Ruolin did not care about it. Not long ago, she and her big brother had made a trip to the Lu continent. Of course, she did not know that without Ning Cheng, an ordinary person would not be able to travel from the Ping continent to the Lu continent. Of course we can go to the Lu continent, but not now. Yuefang, you and Yang Honghua will be in charge of the airship. If anything happens, I will immediately send a message to you, and you can immediately fly towards the Yixing Ocean. A low-grade flight-type true artifact, only a few people would be able to catch up to it. In the periphery of the Yixing Ocean, There are no monstrous beasts that could catch up to a low-grade true artifact. Ningqing stood up and spoke. Big brother, what about you? Ning Ruolin immediately asked. Ji Luofei also looked at Ningqing anxiously. Why did Ningqing not want to go with them? If it were not for Ruolin asking, she would have already asked. Ningqing spoke up slowly. The Lu continent is not our destination. I want to go to the Tian continent. I do not know when I would be able to return to this place again. Since I came here today, I will go to the Gui clan to settle accounts. They actually dared to make a move against Luofei. Their dog eyes must have gone blind. Ji Luofei quickly pulled Ningqing and spoke. I also have nothing to do, let's not go. Others might not know much about the Gui clan, but she had heard Senior Gongsun say that it was a 9-star academy. How could Ningqing deal with it alone? Ningqing grabbed Luofei's hand and motioned her not to worry. In addition to Luofei, there are 2 other reasons. Since I killed Gui Feng, the Gui clan would definitely not let it go. If they want to investigate, they would definitely investigate Senior Na Xinlan. Sooner or later, the news of my return would leak out. Whether it is Senior Na Xinlan or the Ping continent, none of them would be able to bear the wrath of the Gui clan. Since I have already offended them, there is no need for me to back down. What's more, a despicable clan like the Gui clan, if I had the strength, I would have already exterminated them. Since Ningqing had already made up his mind, although everyone was reluctant, they had no other choice. They were very clear that if they followed Ningqing, they would only add to the chaos. Chapter 407. Are you coming back today? Ji Luofei still could not feel at ease. She was the person who understood the Gui Yuan city the most. Ningqing hesitated for a moment before speaking. I'm afraid not only today, it would take at least a few days. Although Ningqing was already at the first level of Sea Opening Realm, he was not arrogant enough to think that he could destroy the entire Gui clan by himself. This was a 9-star academy. As such, before starting, he had to at least know himself and his enemy. If the difference in strength between him and the Gui Yuan city was too great, for example the Gui Yuan city had a bunch of crucible transformation cultivators, then he would not be so stupid as to throw away his life. Initially, when he wanted to deal with the Severing Emotions Dao sect, he had to make arrangements for a long time, and even lead the main force away, before sneaking in. Even so, he was almost killed. If not for Shi Qianghua, he would have already lost his life. This time, his cultivation was much stronger compared to the last time. Moreover, the Gui Yuan city was also not as powerful as the Severing Emotions Dao sect. As such, it should be much easier to deal with. However, Ningqing also knew that this time would be different from the last time. Last time he had gone there secretly, but this time, he must go there openly. Sneaking over and ambushing the Gu family before leaving was not his style of revenge. Seeing her big brother contemplating for a few days, Ning Ruolin hesitated for a moment before biting her lips and speaking. Big brother, can we all go with you? Whether it is elder sister Yuefeng, elder brother Yang, elder sister Liani and sister-in-law, none of them will be afraid. Even little Pingho will not be afraid. I'm not afraid. Taishu Pingho quickly stood out and said affirmatively. Ningqing understood the meaning of his younger sister's words. She was saying that everyone here was on the same side. Rather than going alone, it would be better to let everyone enter the miniature world, so that there would be less worries. Good, then so be it. Ningqing finally made up his mind. He understood that if he died, then even if Ruolin and Luofei managed to escape to the Yixing Ocean, the result would still be very tragic. As such, it would be better for everyone to stay together. He had the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. As such, if they wanted to chase him down, then even a crucible transformation cultivator might not necessarily be able to accomplish it. As for the fact that the small world had been exposed, Ruolin had a point. All of them had gone through life and death together. Moreover, it was just a miniature world. It was not the mysterious yellow bead. Moreover, he trusted these people very much. Junior sister Xinlan, I apologize for calling you out of seclusion. This matter is of great importance. As such, I do not have any other way. As long as you say who gave you those undergarments, then it would be fine. As for the other matters, our Dragon and Phoenix Academy would not be responsible for it. Si Qishui, on seeing Na Xinlan's gloomy face, could only try to persuade her with kind words. Although his status and cultivation was higher than Na Xinlan, but Na Xinlan was also a sea-opening realm cultivator. Na Xinlan's face was as calm as still water. She just sat there, not willing to say a single word. The few of them had been sitting for almost 2 hours, when Gue Kuang finally could not bear it anymore. As he stood up and spoke with a sharp tone, "My Gue clan's elder Gue Feng has fallen. If that junior apprentice sister thinks that this is a trivial matter, then my Gue Yuan city can only..." Gue Kuang hadn't even finished speaking when he grabbed a communications pearl. As his gaze swept over the communications pearl, his complexion immediately changed, and he rushed out without even saying a word. Na Xinlan and Si Qishui looked at each other in dismay, not knowing what Gue Kuang meant. Just at this time, Jiao Lingwei hurriedly ran in and spoke. "Master, someone exposed the crimes of the Gue clan in the Blue Cloud City, saying that the Gue clan cruelly harmed female cultivators. Gue Yuhai and Gue Feng used the blood essence and the power of hope of those female cultivators for their cultivation. Countless female cultivators ended up being killed by the Gue clan, including the Dragon and Phoenix Academy's senior apprentice sister man, This cultivator said that he had killed Gue Yuhai and obtained the evidence of his crimes. Because the Gue clan had been hunting him down, it was only today that he recovered from his injuries and came out to expose the heinous crimes of the Gue clan. The evidence that this cultivator took out were 2 boxes of undergarments. These undergarments all contained the aura of the murdered female cultivators. This cultivator said that he did not want to disturb the dead and wanted to use these undergarments as a cenotaph. Before that, he extracted a bit of the aura from each of the undergarments and placed them in the middle of the Blue Cloud City's grand public square, saying that the families and the academies that had killed their disciples could go and look for them. For this matter, he also deliberately built a temporary altar in the middle of the grand public square. Na Xinlan suddenly stood up. She had never thought that Ning Cheng would be so bold, and even dare to do such a thing. Si Qishui also stood up in shock. He had heard a little about the matter of the underwear last time, but he didn't expect that there would be such a contingency plan for this matter. The Blue Cloud City is the territory of the Blue Cloud 8-Star Academy, and the Blue Cloud Public Square is the public square of the Blue Cloud 8-Star Academy. How could the Blue Cloud Academy allow others to do such a thing? Si Qishui spoke out in amazement. However, in the process of questioning, he already understood what was going on. If this kind of thing was stopped by the Blue Cloud Academy, then the Blue Cloud Academy would be the first to bear the brunt of the blame, and their reputation would be tarnished. Moreover, the Blue Cloud Academy now also had a crucible transformation cultivator, plus the relationship between the Blue Cloud Academy and the Gue Yuan City was somewhat stiff because of Yan Ji's matter. At this time, someone came to add insult to injury. Blue Cloud Academy would certainly be very happy. Once the Gue Yuan City fell, then the Blue Cloud Academy would rightfully become the new 9-Star Academy of the Le Continent. I heard that on the spot someone discovered the aura of the murdered family disciples. Moreover, one of them was from the Blue Cloud Academy. This matter had caused a huge commotion, and many people had rushed to Qingxia City. Especially in recent years, some of the academies that had lost their female disciples, most of them went to Qingxia City. Gue Yuan City's crucible transformation elder Taoist Gue Ba also went to Qingxia City. After Jiao Lingwei finished, she looked at Si Qishui on the side. Wasn't it said that the one who killed Gue Yuhai was Ning Cheng? Is it also Ning Cheng who went to Qingxia City? Si Qishui asked in doubt. If it was Ning Cheng, then his strength was too low. I don't know about this. The information I obtained is not very complete. Jiao Lingwei quickly replied. Na Xinlan spoke up without hesitation. I will report this matter to the dean. The Dragon and Phoenix Academy also had some evidence, but the Dragon and Phoenix Academy was not willing to stand up alone against the Gue Yuan City. Now that someone had come out to take the lead, moreover the Gue Yuan City's Crucible Transformation 7th level Elder Taoist was not at home. If they did not grasp this opportunity, then the Dragon and Phoenix Academy would not have existed until today. I will also go. Si Qishui quickly followed up. Na Xinlan went to look for the dean, In addition to seeking revenge for her disciple, she also wanted to help Ningcheng. Si Qishui was simply throwing stones at them while they were down. The only thing that Na Xinlan and Jiao Lingwei could not understand was that if Ningcheng wanted to take action, why did he not choose the Guiyuan city, but the Qingxia city? If he chose the Guiyuan city, then the impact would be even greater. However, if he chose the Guiyuan city, then Ningcheng would be in even greater danger. Ningcheng, of course, was not a fool. After he investigated that there was a crucible transformation cultivator in the Guiyuan city, he immediately made arrangements for a few days, and then exposed the crimes of the Gui clan in the Qingxia city. When the Guiyuan city's crucible transformation cultivator, Gui Ba, along with 2 sea-opening realm cultivators, rushed towards the Qingxia city, Ningcheng had already appeared in the Guiyuan city. From the Qingxia city to the Guiyuan city, it would still take a certain amount of time. Even if it was a crucible transformation cultivator, without a flight-type true artifact, it would still take at least half a day, which was also the reason why Ningcheng chose the Qingxia city. Of course, because of Yanji, the Qingxia 8-star academy and the Guiyuan city became enemies, which also helped Ningcheng. The Guiyuan city was a famous city in the Lu continent, and could be said to be incomparably prosperous. Even the Dragon and Phoenix city could not compare to it. Although the Gui clan was the de facto ruler of the Guiyuan city, but there were so many people in the Guiyuan city, it was impossible for all of them to belong to the Gui clan. This was a city. Even if you controlled the city, it did not mean that the people in the city were yours. At this time, Ningcheng was standing in the middle of the Guiyuan city's largest public square, the Guiyuan Public Square. Not only did he stand here, but he also set up a temporary altar. Ningcheng did not need to wait for Ningcheng to shout out, as countless cultivators in the Guiyuan city came here. Even Jiao Lingwei knew about the matters in the Qingxia city, so how could the people of the Guiyuan city not know about it? While the countless cultivators were talking about the Gui clan's undying robe faction, a huge altar suddenly appeared in the Guiyuan city's public square. Even a fool would know that the incident in the Qingxia city was about to repeat itself. Sure enough, after Ningcheng finished building the altar, he stood on top of the altar and spoke in a clear voice. Friends, you should know that I have just come from the Qingxia city. The Gui clan harms the children of the Gui clan, causing the wrath of the gods and humans. Although my strength is low, but for my Yixing mainland, for my Lu continent, I want to make some insignificant contributions. Otherwise, I do not know how many kind-hearted women would end up being harmed by the Gui clan. Thieves looking for death. Not waiting for Ningcheng to finish his words, dozens of wind whistled towards Ningcheng. This place was not the Qingxia city. If someone dared to tarnish the reputation of the Gui clan in this place, and expose the scandals of the Gui clan, they would not be allowed to do so. It was just a sneak attack from a few dozen low-leveled cultivators. Ningcheng did not even kill the opposite party. He just brought out a shield to protect his whole body, and spoke out in a loud voice. Does the Gui clan not allow me to expose this brutal matter? Do you want to kill me to silence me? Even if you kill me, Ningcheng, there are still thousands of Ningcheng. For the sake of my Lu continent's brothers and sisters, in order to give justice to the cultivators of the world, I must expose the crimes of the Gui clan. If there must be a cultivator who bleeds for this kind of thing, then let it start with me. Although Ningcheng had promoted himself to a high and mighty position, and even spoke out words that would make even him blush, it still resonated with the people. Although most of the cultivators would not dare to offend the Gui clan, nor would they help the Gui clan, but as long as there was a bloody incident, the situation would immediately become one-sided. Everyone pushes the wall when it falls. This sentence was applicable everywhere, not only in the true cultivation world. The true cultivation world had countless cold-blooded cultivators, but there were also many hot-blooded people. Whether it was cold-blooded or hot-blooded, the mentality of pushing the wall was the same. After Ningcheng secretly killed a profound core cultivator who had tried to attack him, the conflict in the public square immediately escalated. In the end, as long as Ningcheng tried to stop Ningcheng from speaking, someone would come forward to attack him. Some people tried to fish in troubled waters, while some even deliberately killed innocent people. In any case, the public square of the Guiyuan city had already turned chaotic. However, this chaos was quickly suppressed by two powerful auras. Two sea-opening realm cultivators rushed into the Guiyuan public square, and without even speaking, directly attacked Ningcheng. Seeing the sea-opening realm cultivators from the Guiyuan city come out, some of the cultivators who wanted to fish in troubled waters quickly fled. The cultivators who started the fight even planned to quietly leave, not wanting to be found out. Ningcheng was very clear in his heart. He knew that the opportunity had come. As long as he could kill these two sea-opening realm cultivators in the shortest possible time, the Guiyuan city's Gui clan would definitely turn to ashes. Chapter 408. At this critical moment, Ningcheng did not hesitate for even half a moment. At the same time that Lei Cheng's shadow shot out, the 36 great axes transformed into 36 axe traces and shot out. Not only that, but the spear didn't even have the slightest pause. This was the first time that Ningcheng had used his full strength. Even if Lei Cheng's shadow was exposed, he did not care about it at all. For him, time was of the essence. He absolutely could not meet up with the Gui clan's crucible transformation cultivators in the Guiyuan city. Of the two opening sea realm cultivators, one was at the 3rd level of opening sea realm, while the other was at the 5th level of opening sea realm. The two of them did not underestimate Ningcheng. Although Ningcheng's cultivation did not look like much, they were very clear about what kind of person Gui Feng was. If Ningcheng was the one who killed Gui Feng, then not only could they not underestimate him, they would also have to be cautious. Unfortunately, no matter how cautious they were, they couldn't compare to Gui Feng. Gui Feng still had the Dark Wish Pagoda to restrain Ningcheng. However, these two sea-opening realm cultivators did not have any weapons to restrain Ningcheng. Moreover, Ningcheng even went all out. At least when he fought against Gui Feng, Ningcheng did not bring out the shadow of the everlasting Blue Thunder City. The person in front of him had just brought out his magical weapon when he was immediately suppressed by the oncoming Blue Thunder City. The next moment, the 36 axes and Ningcheng's long spear exploded towards the second sea-opening realm cultivator. This 5th level sea-opening realm cultivator's 8-gate segment had just transformed into an array gate when it was submerged by the 36 axes. Caw-caw. A series of crisp sounds emerged, as the 8-gate segment's array entrance was directly extinguished, while the 36 axe shadows were also dispersed by this 8-gate segment's array entrance. Ningcheng's strength had far exceeded the estimation of this 5th level sea-opening realm cultivator. Not waiting for his 8-gate segments to once again form the array gate shadow, Ningcheng's long spear had already arrived. What shocked the Gui clan's 5th level sea-opening realm cultivator was that he couldn't even catch a trace of the spear shadow. The powerful spear intent caused his mind to loosen up. This 5th level sea-opening realm cultivator, of course, was not a fool. Once his mind relaxed, he would rush forward in such a hurry, which would only lead to his death. The best way would be to first stabilize the situation, and then slowly entangle with Ningcheng. But when he first rushed up, he had completely buried that tiny bit of escape route. Boom! The shadow of the everlasting Blue Thunder City immediately suppressed the sea-opening 3rd level cultivator, forcing him back. At the same time, Ningcheng's long spear had already pierced through the glabella of this sea-opening 5th level cultivator. Pung! A bloody mist exploded. At the same time, the 36 small axes made a turn in the air, and once again wrapped around the 3rd level sea-opening realm cultivator, who had just been forced down by the everlasting Blue Thunder City. The axe shadows at this moment completely transformed into axe lines. This sea-opening 3rd level cultivator did not even have the time to put up a defense, as these axe lines bombarded his body. Lines of blood splattered out. No matter how unwilling this 3rd level sea-opening realm cultivator was, he had no choice but to die. The public square, which was initially suppressed by the two Gui clan sea-opening cultivators, turned even more deathly silent at this moment. Ningcheng had instantly killed two Guiyuan cities' sea-opening realm elders. Just what kind of strength was this? Crucible transformation cultivators. Other than crucible transformation cultivators, who else could be so powerful? Ningcheng quickly put away the ring, He knew that a sea-opening realm cultivator's ring was incomparably rich. After killing Duanzhang and Guifeng, he had already made a fortune, so how could he let go of these two sea-opening realm cultivators' ring? Fellow Taoists, if you still have a righteous heart, then please follow me into the Gui clan. If you are aware that you know a friend or a relative of yours was harmed by the Gui clan, then please do not speak much, and follow me into the Gui clan. Ningcheng finished speaking and took the lead to rush into the largest Gui clan fort in the Gui Yuan city, followed by countless cultivators who followed Ningcheng. As for these cultivators, how many of them were truly dissatisfied with the evil deeds of the Gui clan? Only the heavens knew. Needless to say, the wealth of the Gui clan, which cultivator in the Gui Yuan city, had not been exploited by the Gui clan. Even if the Gui clan was powerful, and even more powerful, in the face of an entire city's cultivators, they would not even have the slightest ability to resist. Several powerful sea-opening realm cultivators, without exception, ended up killed by Ningcheng, while the rest of the Gui clan's disciples ended up killed by the rest of the cultivators who rushed in. Ningcheng knew that there were definitely many innocent people among them, but he did not care about it. In this place, if he did not act when being hunted down, then he would just have to wait for the next time to be hunted down. At this moment, not only the Gui clan fort, but the entire Gui Yuan city's shops and merchant houses were also affected. Ningcheng did not think that things would be so simple. He had thought that he would have to face a difficult group battle, but the people who helped him were simply too many. Oh, it should be said that there were simply too many people who wanted to loot the burning house. I finally understand. A soul essence cultivator, who had followed the crowd to blast open a circular building under the Gui clan fort, suddenly shouted out. Not only did this soul essence cultivator understand, but even some of the people who understood array formations also understood. Why did they feel that the Gui clan fort was full of vitality? Moreover, there was even a feeling that they would advance in the next moment. This circular building unexpectedly had an ancient essence extraction array formation on its facade. This kind of array formation was introduced in the basics of array formations. However, no one was able to arrange it now, because the array heart of this array formation required a monstrous soul that transcended the boundary. The Gui clan is truly vicious, to actually use an ancient essence extraction array formation to extract the vitality of all the cultivators in the Gui Yuan city, and use this vitality for the Gui clan fort's cultivation. No wonder I always felt that the Gui Yuan city was a bit strange. Cultivating in this place always felt inexplicable. I was wondering why the Gui clan was so kind to build a city to provide convenience for everyone. What do you mean by providing convenience for everyone? Can you see how many shops in the Gui Yuan city have nothing to do with the Gui clan? Let's blow up this disgusting place. Yes, boom. There were all kinds of discussions. Ningcheng knew that these people were slow to realize this. This kind of life extraction array formation, each time it extracted a very small amount of vitality, even the top cultivators would not be able to perceive it. If these cultivators said that cultivating in this place felt strange, then it would simply be nonsense. However, this kind of array formation was indeed very vicious. If the Gui clan wanted to take the life of a person, then as long as that person was in the Gui Yuan city, this array formation would be able to specifically deal with that person. Ningcheng originally came here to exterminate the Gui clan, so this kind of thing, of course, needed to be exaggerated. In fact, Ningcheng did not need to exaggerate, as countless magical weapons had already bombarded the ancient essence extraction array formation. Even if it was a powerful array formation, it would not be able to withstand the crazy bombardment of so many cultivators. In just an hour, the array formation was blown to smithereens. These cultivators had already forgotten that this life extraction array formation was a vicious thing. Everyone was scrambling to grab the fragments. They all knew that the fragments of this array formation were also very valuable. When they joined forces to suppress the Gui clan, these cultivators were the embodiment of justice. But once it came to them, then benefits were the most important. Moral integrity? What was that? A powerful spiritual consciousness fell on Ningcheng's body, allowing Ningcheng to know that the crucible transformation cultivator had returned. He did not inform the cultivators who were trying to rob the Gui clan, but quietly left the Gui Yuan city. He was sure that this crucible transformation cultivator would definitely chase after him, while the two sea opening realm cultivators following behind him would definitely end up fighting with the cultivators from the Gui Yuan city. Ning Cheng had already calculated this kind of thing. He could not let everyone get rich while he alone had to deal with the crucible transformation cultivators, right? With Ning Cheng's departure, the two sea opening realm cultivators from the Gui Yuan city returned, causing the second large-scale battle to erupt in the Gui Yuan city. Without Ning Cheng taking the lead, the rest of the cultivators were just a motley crew. Under the attacks of the two sea opening realm cultivators from the Gui Yuan city, they instantly turned into ghosts. After snatching countless good things, they did not even have the time to enjoy them. However, this situation did not last long, as a new leader came out. The Dragon and Phoenix Academy and the Blue Cloud 8-Star Academy jointly came to the Gui Yuan city to suppress the evil acts of the Gui clan. In addition to that, the Wu Nian Academy, who was ostensibly an ally of the Gui Yuan city, also came forward to launch a crusade against the Gui Yuan city. Most of the sea opening realm cultivators from the Gui Yuan city were killed by Ning Cheng, while Gui Ba was lured away by Ning Cheng. As such, the remaining people were simply not enough. The benefits of the entire Gui Yuan city were redistributed. Although Gui Ba and the other two crucible transformation cultivators from the Gui clan had not returned, the benefits of the Lu continent's Gui clan had already disappeared, while the Gui Yuan city that had dominated for countless years would soon disappear. Even if the crucible transformation's 7th level returning minister returned, he would not be able to change this fate. Rat, today, even if you want to escape to the ends of the earth, I Gui Ba will still extract your soul and refine it. Gui Ba's entire body was trembling. He was a crucible transformation cultivator, yet a sea opening 1st level cultivator was fooling him. Moreover, the Gui clan was also facing destruction because of this rat. How could he not feel anger in his heart? Old thing, who said that I wanted to escape? I just brought you here, lest you go to the Gui Yuan city and stir up trouble. Ning Cheng stopped and spoke out in a cold voice. He knew that he had to lead Gui Ba away. If a crucible transformation cultivator went to the Gui Yuan city, then the Gui clan would definitely be wiped out by the other academies in his plan. In the Lu continent, if it was not absolutely necessary, the crucible transformation cultivators of the two academies would not directly start a fight. Now that he had lured Gui Ba away, the Gui Yuan city's Gui clan would definitely perish. In the future, even if the Gui clan's Grand Elder came back, he would not be able to do anything about it. A crucible transformation 7th level cultivator, Ning Cheng really did not care about it. While speaking, Ning Cheng did not hesitate to throw out countless array flags. Cowardly rat, just a mere temporary array formation. And you want to trap me, Gui Ba? You are dreaming. Gui Ba gave a loud hissing sound, as several shadows rushed out. Ning Cheng also sneered in his heart. A mere temporary array formation? In order to arrange this rank 7 trap and kill array, he had wasted a full 5 days. The reason for this was very simple. He had never fought against a crucible transformation cultivator one-on-one. Arranging this trap and kill array to lure Gui Ba out was just a precaution. Gui Ba's magical weapons were just as domineering as his name, for incomparably huge hammer-like magical weapons. As these 4 sledgehammers shot out, they instantly squeezed the space around Ning Cheng, causing Ning Cheng to find it difficult to even breathe in this kind of space. Crucible transformation cultivators really were different. Ning Cheng was secretly surprised in his heart, but he did not immediately activate the array formation. This Gui Ba was a tyrannical person. This kind of person was the most suitable for him to practice with. Chapter 409. Ning Cheng brought out the 36 cosmic true devil axes, which immediately turned into 4 axe traces. These 4 axe traces instantly collided with Gui Ba's 4 sledgehammers, giving off a shocking shockwave. Boom boom boom. The sounds of true essence bursting out caused the mountain rocks that were a few hundred feet away to shake and fall down. Ning Cheng's 36 small axes were blown away, while Gui Ba's 4 sledgehammers slowed down a bit. However, they were not completely contained by Ningcheng's axes. After exchanging just one round, Ningcheng already had a clear understanding of the difference in strength between him and Gui Ba. Although his true essence was slightly weaker than Gui Ba, but his spiritual consciousness was stronger than Gui Ba. If they really fought, he was confident that he would be able to kill Gui Ba without relying on array formations. If he wanted to kill Gui Ba by force, Ningcheng estimated that he would have to waste some time. In case that Crucible Transformation 7th level cultivator from the Gui clan came, he would not be able to bear the consequences. After Gui Ba's 4 sledgehammers paused for a moment, they once again rumbled towards Ningcheng at an even faster speed. Ningcheng knew that he had overestimated Gui Ba. Since he had already arranged an entrapment array formation, he was not stupid enough to not use it. Another few array flags were thrown down, and the level 7 trap and kill array was instantly formed. Countless blade lights transformed into waves that blasted towards Gui Ba. As these blade lights blasted out, the space around Gui Ba also turned sluggish. Not good, this is a grade 7 trap and kill array. Although Ningcheng had used his small axe to block Gui Ba's first strike, but Gui Ba was only shocked for a moment. From the depths of his heart, he simply did not put Ningcheng in his eyes. The gap between him and a first-level sea opening realm cultivator was just too big. It was so big that he did not even want to calculate the gap between the two of them. Now that Ningcheng had activated the rank 7 trap and kill array, he knew that he had fallen into a trap. Ningcheng escaping to this place was something that he had done deliberately, including being caught by his spiritual consciousness, and then being chased by him, leading him into this trap and kill array. Every step he took fell into the other party's plan. Gui Ba's anger surged, and the 4 giant hammers transformed into 4 huge mountains before blasting towards the entrapment and killing array. He wanted to destroy Ningcheng's entrapment and killing array. He was angry but not afraid. Ningcheng was not afraid of Gui Ba destroying his rank 7 entrapment killing array. Even if Gui Ba could destroy his rank 7 entrapment killing array, he would still be able to kill Gui Ba. After activating the trap and kill array, he was just about to bring out the everlasting Blue Thunder City's shadow. A feeling of apprehension welled up in his heart, as if an extreme danger was approaching him. Ningcheng's heart sank. He absolutely did not think that his senses were wrong, but if he had to give up on Gui Ba at this time, he would definitely not be willing. Destroying the entire Gui Yuan city, yet not even killing a single Crucible Transformation cultivator. What kind of revenge was this? Maximal Flame Divine Power. Ningcheng, who had experienced countless dangers before, did not hesitate at all. He once again brought out the Maximal Flame spiritual technique. When Gui Ba sensed Minister Gui Zheng's return, he was immediately overjoyed in his heart, and the 4 giant hammers were like empty tie pressing down on him. At this time, the space that was originally under the control of the rank 7 array formation suddenly collapsed. Gui Ba's first thought when he felt this spatial collapse was disbelief. Not to mention that Ningcheng was just a trivial sea opening realm cultivator. Even if he had a cultivation that surpassed the Crucible Transformation realm, it would still be impossible for him to cause space to collapse. This was not a spell at all, but a legendary divine ability. The space divine ability required one to control the law of space. How could a mere cultivator from the cultivation world control the law of space? That was simply a joke. However, he felt a kind of spatial collapse. Even with his Crucible Transformation cultivation, he did not dare to fight against this kind of spatial collapse. Not waiting for him to come up with a countermeasure, he suddenly felt something missing from his surroundings. That's right, there was no fire. He felt as if he was in a hollow space. Although there was light all around him, Gui Ba saw a kind of darkness. There was obviously no change in front of him, yet he felt a kind of collapse rushing towards him. This was an illusion. Not waiting for Gui Ba to come up with this idea, a flame burst out in front of him, just like a firework scattering in all directions, instantly engulfing Gui Ba. Wrapped up in this spatial collapse, Gui Ba could not even resist. Even if Gui Ba had the ability to reach the heavens, he would not be able to escape from this kind of flame spiritual technique. What's more, he did not have the ability to reach the heavens. After Ningcheng killed Gui Ba, He grabbed the ring and did not even put away the array flags. He swallowed a few pills, brought out the low-grade true artifact airship, and soon disappeared. After Ning Cheng called out the rest of the people, he immediately went into seclusion. Seeing Ning Cheng safe and sound, all the people felt happy. Nan Yuefang, in accordance with the route stipulated by Ning Cheng, controlled the flight-type true artifact and directly rushed into the Yixing Ocean. After Ning Cheng entered the cabin, he began to restore his true essence. He was afraid that the Gui clan's Guizheng minister would catch up to him. If the minister of returning Zheng caught up, it would be another fierce battle. Senior Minister Gui Zheng had the cultivation of Crucible Transformation 7th level, which was not something that Gui Ba could compare to. Originally, he had intended to kill Gui Ba, and then use the Lu continent's transmission array to enter the Tian continent. He believed that with the reputation he had established in the Lu continent, it would not be a problem for him to use the transmission array. After feeling the threat, Ning Cheng decisively gave up on the transmission array. He intended to wait for his true essence to recover, and then directly use the true Brahma Buddha fire wheel to go to the Tian continent from the chaotic star space. The power of hope from the Buddha fire wheel might not be enough, but even if it was not enough, Ning Cheng believed that it would be somewhere close to the Tian continent. Ning Cheng guessed that the one threatening him was definitely Minister Gui Zheng. Minister Gui Zheng was a Crucible Transformation 7th level cultivator. As long as he did not go to the Tian continent, then with such a big change happening in the Guiyuan city, he would definitely come back. Ning Cheng had guessed it right. The Guiyuan city's Minister Gui Zheng had indeed returned. What made the Minister Gui Zheng angry to the extreme was that although the Guiyuan city was still there, the Gui clan was no longer there. Moreover, he had come back too late. This lesson told the Minister Gui Zheng that even if you were powerful, not everyone would dare to speak up after being bullied. Not only was the Gui clan gone, but the Gui clan's cultivators below the sea opening realm were almost completely annihilated. Even the Crucible Transformation cultivator, Gui Ba, had gone missing. As for the Dragon and Phoenix Academy, and the Blue Cloud Academy who had killed several Gui clan's sea opening realm cultivators, the Minister Gui Zheng did not dare to provoke them. The other party had an open and above-board reason. Since you killed my disciples in the Guiyuan city, then we must seek justice. If he did not seek revenge against the academy, then the Gui clan in the Guiyuan city might be able to recover. However, if he wanted to seek revenge, then the Gui clan would have to leave the Lu continent forever. Although the Minister Gui Zheng did not dare to seek revenge from the Dragon and Phoenix Academy, it did not mean that he did not dare to look for Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng was the main culprit behind the Gui clan's destruction. Moreover, he was sure that even if he looked for Ning Cheng, no one would dare to come forward to help Ning Cheng. Big brother, what is this place? My spiritual consciousness had just swept out when it was strangled to death. Yang Honghua, who was sitting on top of the true Brahma Buddha fire wheel, spoke out in shock. He felt that Ning Cheng's flight-type magical weapon was much faster. As such, he wanted to look outside. But what caught him off guard was that his spiritual consciousness had just swept out when it was strangled by the terrifying astral wind outside. Yang Honghua asked this question. It was obvious that the rest of the people also wanted to know the answer. At this moment, everyone was looking at Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng smiled and spoke. In the past, when I escaped from the Lu continent to the Tian continent, I had also passed through this place. This place is called the Chaotic Star Space. Even ordinary Crucible Transformation cultivators would not be able to come up to the Chaotic Star Space. This flight-type magical weapon of mine allows me to fly at the fastest speed in this place. This place also has a benefit, that is, it can temper your spiritual consciousness. You can try it repeatedly. As long as you do not extend your spiritual consciousness too far, it would definitely be beneficial to your spiritual consciousness. Hearing that it could temper one's spiritual consciousness, whether it was Yang Honghua or Nan Yuefang, both of them were extremely happy. Even Ji Luofei was eager to give it a try. Ning Ruolin and Lian Yi's cultivations were a bit worse. As such, they did not dare to try it. From here to the Tian continent, there is still a long way to go. I estimate that it would take at least a year or two. You can cultivate while tempering your spiritual consciousness at the same time. Lianyi, in addition to cultivating, you can also guide Ping how to start cultivating. Ningqing finished and took out a ring and handed it to Lianyi. There are some cultivation resources inside, along with some cultivation jade strips. For the time being, you can use these cultivation methods to cultivate. Once we enter the Tian continent and join the academy, everyone would be exposed to even more things. The Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's scripture depository had too many good things. As long as one joined the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect, as for each person's future, they would have to rely on themselves. What about you? Ji Luofei whispered to Ningqing. If Ningqing did not cultivate, then she would accompany Ningqing. I also want to cultivate. I want to go to the Tian continent to get back what belongs to me. My cultivation is still not enough. Ningqing was aware of Luofei's thoughts. After this group of people arrived at the Tian continent, their biggest backer would be him. If his strength could not keep up, then he would not be able to count on others. In addition to improving his level of alchemy, Ningqing also wanted to improve his cultivation as much as possible. When he arrived at the Tian continent, the first thing he wanted to do was to go to the profound light chamber of commerce. He had placed 3 drops of the geocentric Ninine essence in the profound light chamber of commerce, as well as a small branch of the 9-colored mirage tree. In the past, he did not go and ask for what he should have obtained. That was because he knew that his strength was still too low. Not only would he not be able to obtain these things, but he would also lose his life if he went. Now that his strength was comparable to that of a crucible transformation cultivator, how could he give up on so many spirit stones? The profound light chamber of commerce was one of the major chambers of commerce in the Tian continent. As such, its strength was not simple. Therefore, he had to make full use of all the time available to him to improve his cultivation. Surviving in this place, Ningqing was very clear that only when he had the strength would others talk reason with him. Chapter 410. Ningqing chose to cross the Yixing Ocean to enter the Tian continent because he was worried that the minister Guizhang would stop him at the transmission array. In fact, what he did not know was that the Lu continent's transmission array from the Lu continent to the Tian continent, in addition to the quota for the major academies of the Lu continent, there were also some rogue cultivators with excellent qualifications. As long as these rogue cultivators had high qualifications, even the crucible transformation cultivators of the Lu continent would not have the right to interfere with their transfer to the Tian continent. Because in addition to the people from the Lu continent, there were also cultivators from the Tian continent in this transmission array. Of course, even if Ningqing knew about this, he would not dare to use the transmission array. His spiritual root aptitude was simply too strange. Even he himself did not dare to test it. None of the Tian continent's 10 major sects were simple. Each of the sects had a majestic, imposing manner. However, if one were to compare the grandeur of the public squares of the major sects, then the Heavenly Dao Public Square was undoubtedly one of the best. Although the Heavenly Dao Academy wasn't as strong as before, the prestige of the Heavenly Dao Public Square was still there. Ever since the great meet of the academies many years ago, the Heavenly Dao Public Square had not been as lively as it was today. After many years, the Heavenly Dao Public Square was once again overcrowded with people, even more so than the great meet of the academies. After all, in the past, the great meet of the academies was mainly fought over by the top academies, but this time, almost all the academies and major forces would come to the Heavenly Dao Public Square. Everyone knew the reason. The once-in-a-decade disciple selection was about to begin. What was different from the previous disciple selections was that this time it was the Yixing mainland's disciple selections, while the previous disciple selections were all within the scope of the Tian continent. Because after the transmission array was established between the Lu continent and the Tian continent, many talented disciples were transferred over from the Lu continent. Moreover, these talented disciples were something that any academy would want. As a result, after everyone argued and discussed with the cultivators of the Lu continent, they finally came up with such a rule. This time, the Lu continent's disciple selection would be held together with the Tian continent's disciple selection that was held once every 10 years. And the selection would be carried out through mutual competition. Before that, no sect was allowed to recruit any disciples. Although the major academies were not allowed to recruit disciples in advance, but the disciples that came from the Lu continent all had excellent qualifications. As such, many of the academies were secretly observing them. Some of the disciples with excellent qualifications in the Lu continent had their own academies. If one wanted to obtain these disciples, then one would have to give some benefits to their original academies. The Lu continent's major academies were not only interested in spirit stones and cultivation resources, but the most important thing was the Heaven's Way. It was very difficult to enter the Heaven's Way, and only the Tian continent's sects had a quota. This quota was controlled by the major sects of the Heaven continent, and was managed by the Heaven Alliance. As for the cultivators from the Lu continent who were qualified to enter the Heaven's Way, they would have to find a way to do so. For example, making a contribution to the Tian continent, sending the genius disciples of one's own sect to a better sect was also one of the contributions. Is this the Heavenly Tao Exchange Hall? It looks so grand. Senior Brother Chui, let's go in and have a look, said a delicate young girl as she looked at the grand hall in envy. It's not easy to enter. I heard that you need 50 million spirit stones, or a treasure to enter. We don't have that many spirit stones and treasures. The male cultivator known as Senior Brother Chui shook his head and replied. The young girl cried out in shock. The entrance fee is 50 million spirit stones? Isn't this too outrageous? Without waiting for Senior Apprentice Brother Chui to speak, a cultivator next to him sneered and said, One look and you can tell that you are a country bumpkin from the other side of the river. He said 50 million because you have so many spirit stones, not because he wants you to give them to him. I did not ask you anything. Why are you talking so much? The young girl replied in a very dissatisfied tone. Senior Apprentice Brother Chui, let's go. Haha, if you are not qualified to enter, then don't make a fool of yourself here. The cultivator, on seeing the young girl and Senior Apprentice Brother Chui turn around, gave a complacent laugh, and spoke in an insolent tone. He saw that the young girl looked delicate and pretty, and deliberately wanted to find some words to say. The young girl's face turned red with anger, but she really could not come up with any valuable treasures. At this time, another crisp voice sounded out. Looking down on people with dog eyes, do people from the Lu continent not have the qualifications to enter the Cultivator Exchange Hall? Junior Apprentice Sister Zhang Sunyan, Junior Apprentice Brother Chui Nieping, let's go in together. The female cultivator who came over took out a jade box and placed it in front of the cultivator guarding the entrance. Beside her was a handsome-looking male cultivator. The cultivator guarding the entrance did not care about it, as she had often seen such disputes. But when she opened the jade box, she spoke up in surprise. Blood River Red Lotus? That's right, it is the Blood River Red Lotus. I think we should be qualified to enter, right? The female cultivator who came over spoke up in a calm voice. Senior Apprentice Sister Yanji, Senior Apprentice Brother Bi Xingjin, so it was you. Zhang Sunyan called out in surprise. Haha, what a coincidence, everyone, to have come here. Another person came over with a laugh. This time it was two men and a woman. Zhang Sunyan no longer had the baby fat that she used to have, and her mannerisms were even more generous and decent. When she saw the few people coming over, she quickly gave a salute and called out, Greetings, Senior Apprentice Brother Cheng Yixiao, Senior Apprentice Brother Luo Banyan. As for the female cultivator behind her, she pretended not to see her. Nalan Rushua knew that Zhang Sunyan did not have a small opinion about her, so she did not go up to look for trouble. Instead, she simply greeted Yanji, Chui Nieping and Bi Xingjin. Blood River Red Lotus? The cultivator who had ridiculed Zhang Sun, Yan also called out in surprise, as his eyes also moved away from Yanji's body. Although Yanji was beautiful, but the Blood River Red Lotus was even more important. Hey, sure enough, everyone from the Lu continent has a Blood River Red Lotus. Is the Blood River Red Lotus already everywhere in the Lu continent? The cultivator immediately sent out a message as he spoke. Yanji took back the Blood River Red Lotus, and was just about to pay the spirit stones with Zhang Sunyan and the others. When she heard those words, she immediately asked, Is there anyone else besides me who took out the Blood River Red Lotus? Yanji's heart even started pounding. Initially, she was not the only cultivator who had obtained the Blood River Red Lotus from the Law's Way, but she was sure that there would not be anyone else like her, who had kept the Blood River Red Lotus until now. If one obtained the Blood River Red Lotus, then they would definitely find a way to use it, either to get rid of the pill poison in their body, or to find a way to improve their cultivation. If not for Ning Cheng, then she would have already used up the Blood River Red Lotus. Yes, it is a thief by the name of Ning Cheng. This person is someone who everyone has the right to punish. As this cultivator spoke, his eyes were staring at Yanji. He wanted to see if there was any relationship between Yanji and Ning Cheng. Yanji immediately flew into a rage. You are the thief who everyone has the right to punish, shameless to the extreme. Although she was cursing, but her heart was in a complete mess. Ning Cheng had really come to the Tian continent. Where was he now? Unfortunately, this person was an enemy of Ning Cheng. Otherwise, she would have definitely asked this person as to where Ning Cheng was. Haha. The moment you took out the Blood River Red Lotus, I knew that your relationship with Ning Cheng was not shallow. Now it seems that it really was the case. This cultivator's eyes were just like a poisonous snake as he stared at Yanji, and spoke out in a very fierce tone, although he did not dare to start a fight in this place. Cheng Yixiao also saw that something was wrong, as he quickly spoke up. Junior apprentice Sister Yanji, let's go into the exchange hall. Let's not talk to these people. Go in. There is no need to be anxious. Why don't you first say that you know Ning Cheng? A huge pressure came crashing down, causing the 7 cultivators from the Lu continent to retreat. They simply did not have even half a shred of resistance. See opening realm cultivator. Yanji and the others were clear. In the face of a sea opening realm cultivator, they simply did not have any leeway to resist. Senior, you have the cultivation of sea opening realm. Why are you using your imposing manner to oppress us? Cheng Yixiao had just stood up and spoke a few words, when this cultivator immediately slapped him across the face. Cheng Yixiao was directly sent flying more than 10 meters away, falling to the ground and spitting out 2 of his teeth. He did not even have the ability to resist. Nailan Rushua and Cheng Yixiao were both from the Lu continent's Wunyan Academy. Seeing Cheng Yixiao being slapped flying for no reason, Nailan Rushua immediately spoke out in a loud voice. Is this the Heavenly Dao Academy's Heavenly Dao Public Square? How can people with high cultivations bully people with low cultivations? This sea-opening realm cultivator laughed out loud. Can't you take a slap from me? When Ning Cheng killed my nephew in this place, why didn't I see you come out and say that people with high cultivations bully people with low cultivations? If you have nothing to do with Ning Cheng, then just fuck off. If you have anything to do with him, then you are an enemy of my Red Star Sword faction. As such, you must come with me to answer some questions. The several cultivators from the Lu continent looked at each other in dismay. Ning Cheng not only came to the Tian continent first, but also dared to kill a disciple of the Red Star Sword faction? These several genius cultivators from the Lu continent had been here for quite some time. As such, they had certainly heard of the top 10 academies of the Tian continent. Even if they were given a few more guts, they still would not dare to offend the Red Star Sword faction. Ning Cheng not only offended them, but also killed their disciple. If this account was placed on them, then what should they do? In this place, there was no one to help them. Nailan Rushua was even more shocked. She was very clear about Ning Cheng's qualifications. It was reasonable to say that cultivating to the profound congealing realm was already the limit. Even if he did not die in the Blood River Mountains, how could he come to the Tian continent? Moreover, how could he kill a disciple of the Red Star Sword faction? Cui Nieping remained silent. He and Ning Cheng had already fought. If not for Ning Cheng sparing him, he would have already been killed by Ning Cheng. Bei Xingjin and Luo Banyan, who often heard Ning Cheng's name, also opened their mouths wide. To be honest, when they heard about how powerful Ning Cheng was before, they just laughed it off. In their eyes, no matter how powerful Ning Cheng was, he could not be compared to them. But, how did this person come to the Tian continent? Moreover, he even killed a disciple of one of the top 10 academies of the Tian continent. Yanji's heart was in turmoil. Ning Cheng was still the same Ning Cheng who dared to kill even the disciples of the Red Star Sword faction. More and more cultivators started to gather around. These people could not wait for things to blow up, to teach these country bumpkins from the Lu continent, who did not know the immensity of the heavens and earth, a lesson. How come what I heard was different? A woman wearing a blue robe descended. So it was junior apprentice Sister Een from the floating snow palace. The sea-opening realm cultivator from the Red Star Sword faction had a slightly stiff expression, as he reluctantly gave a greeting. Een Kongchan's cultivation was not as good as his, but he had heard a rumor that Een Kongchan's life essence had suddenly been restored. Moreover, her cultivation had also advanced by leaps and bounds in a short period of time, from the first level of soul sculpting realm to the 7th level of soul sculpting realm in just a few years. It was something that ordinary people simply could not believe. He was sure that it was only a matter of time before Een Kongchan's cultivation surpassed him. Moreover, the floating snow palace was not something that the Red Star Sword faction could afford to provoke. Senior apprentice brother Ding Han. I was also present at that time. When Ning Cheng and Ding Liang fought on the battle ring, didn't Ning Cheng's cultivation not seem to be as high as Ding Liang's? Senior apprentice brother Ding Han said that Ning Cheng's cultivation was high enough to bully someone with lower cultivation. Where did that come from? Een Kongchan spoke in a very flat tone. Chapter 411. Ding Han's complexion turned stiff. When Ning Cheng and Ding Liang fought, his cultivation was lower than Ding Liang's. Everyone knew about it. He just wanted to find an excuse to take away Yan Ji and Nalan Wuxia. His purpose, in addition to forcing them to reveal Ning Cheng's whereabouts, was to make these two female cultivators his women. These two female cultivators not only had a refined appearance, they were also quite young, but their cultivations were also not simple. From this, he could affirm that their qualifications were very good. Now that these two female cultivators had not joined any academy, he could force them to join the Red Star Sword faction when they participated in the disciple selection. Once these two female cultivators joined other academies, even if he gave them a lot of courage, he would not dare to make a move against them. As for the academies of the Lu continent, even if it was a 9-star academy, his Red Star Sword faction would not put them in their eyes. Junior apprentice Sister Een, Ning Cheng is extremely daring, committing all sorts of evil deeds, provoking an internal strife among the 10 major academies. Moreover, he even caused the fall of crucible transformation cultivators from the major academies. Even your esteemed academy has a crucible transformation senior. Ding Han's tone eased up a bit. He could not figure out why Een Kongchan would come out to speak for Ning Cheng. Een Kongchan still spoke in a calm voice. Whether or not this matter was done by Ning Cheng, everyone is just guessing. What's more, Ning Cheng is Ning Cheng, while others are others. You want to push Ning Cheng's matter onto the rest of the Lu continent's cultivators. Do you want to break the established rules of the major academies? Ding Han's complexion turned somewhat ugly. His cultivation was higher than Een Kongchan's, but because he feared the floating snow palace, he could only speak in a gentle tone. However, Een Kongchan's words were very aggressive, which made him feel very uncomfortable in his heart. Junior apprentice Sister Een, a few years ago, many academies issued a warrant for Ning Cheng's arrest. Ding Han's words were once again interrupted by Een Kongchan. Senior apprentice brother Ding. I do not agree with the term wanted. A few years ago, there were indeed some academies that wanted to find Ning Cheng, but it was far from the point of issuing a warrant for his arrest. Senior apprentice brother Ding. You can say that the Red Star Sword faction and the Severing Emotions Dao sect issued a warrant for Ning Cheng's arrest. However, I do not know about this matter from the other academies. At least my Floating Snow Palace and the Rainbow Fall Sword sect have never issued a warrant for his arrest. Seeing Ding Han's complexion turn slightly stiff, Een Kongchan spoke in an even more impolite tone. Seeing Een Kongchan's face, spoke in an even more impolite. Ning Cheng won the first place in the Heaven Alliance's Dao Cheng Mu personally. Moreover, because Ning Cheng's strength was too formidable, the rules of the Tian continent's great meet of the academies were changed because of Ning Cheng. Do you think that such a person would be wanted by the Tian continent's great sects? Senior apprentice brother Ding Han, if your Red Star Sword faction must find an excuse to deal with the rest of the Lu continent's disciples, then I can only report it. Ding Han's expression became even more unsightly. With a cold snort, he turned around and left, vanishing in an instant. Ying Kongchan nodded to Yanji and the others, and did not wait for Yanji to come up and thank her, before she instantly disappeared. After the two of them left, many of the surrounding cultivators started discussing. Because Bei Xingjin and the other geniuses from the Lu continent had gathered here, almost 70% of the cultivators from the Lu continent had already arrived here. Ning Cheng was the champion of the Tian continent's great meet of the academies? Is this true? Cheng Yixiao and Nalen Rushua were different. He had always taken Ning Cheng as his goal. Now that he heard that Ning Cheng had taken first place in the great meet of the academies, he couldn't help but ask in shock. He was still working hard to join one of the major academies in the Tian continent, while Ning Cheng unexpectedly swept away all the genius disciples of the Tian continent a few years ago. Of course it's true. Senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng swept away all the profound core cultivators of the Tian continent, and no one dared to come up to challenge him. Finally, senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng sat on the battle ring in boredom for nearly 2 to 4 hours. The Dao Master of the Heaven Alliance, Senior Mu Ziming, had no choice but to personally come up to announce that senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng had taken first place, and even let Ning Cheng choose his own prize. At the same time, because Ning Cheng's strength was too formidable, Senior Mu announced a change in the rules of the Great Meet. A male cultivator spoke with extreme pride. This male cultivator was from the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, and Ning Cheng was the pride of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. As such, he naturally spoke with incomparable pride. When the cultivators from the Lu continent heard that Ning Cheng was such a powerful existence, they couldn't help but feel surging in their hearts. As for this male cultivator calling Ning Cheng as senior apprentice brother, everyone took it for granted. Such a powerful cultivator, if they did not call him senior apprentice brother, then what else could they call him? This senior apprentice brother, do you know where senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng went? Yanji quickly stepped forward and asked. The male cultivator quickly shook his head and spoke. I don't know about this, but I do know a bit about the enmity between the Red Star Sword faction and senior apprentice brother Ning. Senior apprentice brother Ning abhors evil. Not only did he kill the Red Star Sword faction's Ding Liang, but he also cursed the Red Star Sword faction's crucible transformation elder Tang Gongxi. Humph, it can only be said that he has no respect for his elders, and is a wild cultivator without even a bit of upbringing. Although Ding Han left, Ji Yi of the Red Star Sword faction did not leave. This male cultivator from the Rainbow Fall Sword sect did not fear Ji Yi at all, and still spoke with disdain. I heard that some academies would even kill their own lovers. Senior apprentice brother Ning just saw injustice and pulled out his sword to help. When Ji Yi heard this, he immediately turned hostile. What's wrong? Did this senior apprentice brother speak the wrong words a moment ago? In the past, your Red Star Sword faction's Jiang Jun had the heart of a wolf and lungs of a sheep, plotted against my Great Change Island's senior apprentice sister Yushan. Yet senior apprentice brother Ning came forward to accuse him. Isn't that the truth? Your Red Star Sword faction has not reached the point where you can cover the sky with one hand. Another cold voice joined in. That's right. How many people did Ning Cheng save in the battlefield between Great Liang and the Northern Shang Nation? The Red Star Sword faction should have also saved a few. I guess that only the Red Star Sword faction would be ungrateful. With such a person like Qin Jun, this academy hee. Seeing more and more cultivators speaking up for Ning Cheng, while cursing the Red Star Sword faction, the Red Star Sword faction's Ji Ye's complexion turned uglier and uglier, before he quickly turned around and walked away with his tail between his legs. It's just a trash academy. Such a academy also wants to put out a wanted poster for senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng Ba. The cultivator from the Great Change Island cursed disdainfully behind his back. The cultivators from the Great Change Island felt very grateful towards Ning Cheng. At least Ning Cheng let them know who the murderer of Tan Yushan was. Of course, senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng dared to kill his way into the Severing Emotions Dao sect, and then came out alone. Just how awe-inspiring was that? A trivial Red Star Sword faction is not even comparable to my Rainbow Fall Sword sect, not to mention the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Yet they still want to put out a wanted poster for senior apprentice brother Ning Cheng. Ningqing even killed his way into the Severing Emotions Dao sect? The cultivators from the Lu continent felt their hearts boiling with excitement. They did not expect that Ningqing had already come to the Tian continent many years ago. Regardless of how Ningqing came to the Tian continent, the things that Ningqing did were simply something that they could not even dare to think about. Some of the cultivators from the Lu continent had already been in the Tian continent for several years, so of course they were aware of how proud and arrogant the cultivators of the Tian continent were. Moreover, the Tian continent's heaven and earth laws were indeed more complete than the Lu continent's. As such, the cultivators from the Tian continent were also a notch higher than the cultivators from the Lu continent. Moreover, the man of the hour that they heard here was actually someone from the Lu continent, cursing the Crucible Transformation cultivators, provoking a war between the 10 major academies, killing a disciple of the Red Star Sword faction, obtaining the first place in the Great Meet of the Academies, forcing the Great Meet of the Academies to change the rules, and even killing his way into the Severing Emotions Dao sect. Was this something that an ordinary person would do? I knew that Big Brother Ning, no matter where he was, would always be the most powerful. Although Zhang Sunyan had matured a lot, but she still spoke without thinking. Yanji lowered her head, although she was happy for Ningqing, but in her heart she was not happy. The reason why she came to the Tian continent was because she suspected that Ningqing had escaped to the Tian continent. She was worried that the more outstanding Ningqing was, the farther she would be from Ningqing. She liked Ningqing, but not because Ningqing was outstanding. If Ningqing was outstanding, then there would definitely be a lot of people who liked him. Then how could she be eye-catching? She was one of the twin lotus flowers in the Lu continent. Not only was she beautiful, but her qualifications were also first class. But that was only in the Lu continent. That senior apprentice Sister Yan who had spoken up for Ningqing was in no way worse than her. Moreover, her cultivation was also higher than her. Nalan Rushua also lowered her head. She was the one who was the most shocked in her heart. Although because of the words of others, her view of Ningqing had somewhat changed. However, she did not think that Ningqing was a powerful person. A person's qualifications determine their future. Even the rumors that spread throughout the city that Ningqing had killed Gui Yuhai, she also believed that it was absolutely impossible. She felt a bit of regret in her heart, not because of anything else, but because she regretted using Ningqing in the past. She had initially thought that Ningqing had fallen, which was why she said that Ningqing had raped her. In fact, she had not been able to investigate this matter, because she had not found the female cultivator called Hang Jiaojiao. It looks like I won't be able to catch up with him. Cheng Yixiao spoke in a somewhat dispirited manner. Bei Xingjin and Yanji had come together, so when he heard Yanji speak up for Ningqing, and even offended the Red Star Sword faction for Ningqing, he felt somewhat unhappy in his heart. Now that he saw Yanji lowering her head, he couldn't help but frown. With his cultivation at the Great Circle of the Soul Essence realm, he was just a single step away from advancing to the Soul Sculpting realm. Even if that Ningqing was even more powerful, he would only be participating in a tournament for the Profound Core realm. Junior Apprentice Sister Ji, why don't we go somewhere else? Bei Xingjin took the initiative to interrupt Yanji's thoughts. Yanji shook her head and spoke, "Don't, Senior Apprentice brother. I'm going to the Heavenly Dao Public Square's Cultivator Exchange Hall to take a look. Since Big Brother Ning has already gone in to take a look, I also want to take a look." "That's right, let's go in together to have a look." Cheng Yixiao immediately echoed. He had always admired Ningqing very much. If Ningqing went to a place, then he would definitely go and have a look. What about Senior Apprentice Brother Ningqing? Yes, where is Senior Apprentice Brother Ningqing now? There were also many cultivators from the Lu continent asking about Ningqing's whereabouts. However, even the Crucible Transformation cultivators did not know where Ningqing had gone, so who would know about it? At this time, Ningqing had just come out of seclusion. He had no choice but to come out. The power of hope in the Imperial Jade Seal had been exhausted. As such, he could only control the true Brahma Buddha fire wheel to leave the heavenly star space and arrive in the sky above the Yixing Ocean. The power of hope had persisted for nearly a year, but Ningqing did not waste even a single minute. allowing his strength to advance from the peak of the first level of the sea-opening realm to the third level of the sea-opening realm. In fact, Ning Cheng had risked his life to reach this point, otherwise he would have only been able to advance to the second level of the sea-opening realm. Without the crystal stones with rich spiritual qi, Ning Cheng's cultivation, even with the help of the mysterious yellow origin, would not be able to soar like this. As for his level of alchemy, he had not improved even by half a point. The spiritual grasses that he had purchased from the sifting orchid star were still sleeping in his ring. Have we arrived at the Tian continent? From the Buddha fire wheel to the low-grade flight-type true artifact, and seeing the boundless Yixing Ocean, Ning Ruolin was the first to call out happily. Although her cultivation had progressed very quickly, but for many years in seclusion, she still could not stand it. However, at this time, Ning Ruolin already had the cultivation of true condensation 7th level. A loud explosion interrupted Ning Cheng's words, causing all the people to stare at a place not far away from the airship. A man and a woman were in the middle of a crazy battle. The waves of the Yixing Ocean were blasted out hundreds of feet high due to the fight between the two, setting off a huge whirlpool. Ning Cheng's heart sank when he saw this. He found that his own cultivation was far inferior to the two people fighting. They were definitely not crucible transformation cultivators. Chapter 412. The two cultivators fighting each other apparently also discovered Ning Cheng's flight-type true artifact, but the two of them acted as if they did not see it, as their fight turned even more intense. Heavens, is this a crucible transformation cultivator? Yang Honghua cried out in shock. With sufficient pills and spirit stones, his progress was not small, and at this moment he was already at essence building realm 5th level. Ning Cheng could sense that the cultivation of these two people was higher than him, but he did not use his spiritual consciousness to investigate them. He wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. Although his cultivation was far higher than his, it didn't mean that his strength was far superior to his. He had killed a lot of cultivators who were much stronger than him. Since the two of them had been fighting for so long, their true essence was definitely not at its peak. Even if he could not beat them, he could still escape. Therefore, Ning Cheng did not feel much fear, as he immediately controlled the flight-type true artifact to change its direction, while at the same time speaking to Ning Ruolin. We have not reached the Tian continent yet. It would be better to leave this place as soon as possible. Even without Ning Cheng's reminder, Ji Luofei and the others already knew that this was not a place to stay for long. No matter how powerful Ning Cheng was, he was still too young. The cultivations of the cultivators in the true cultivation world were all accumulated over the years. Even if Ning Cheng's age was even more outstanding, he could not be compared to those old things who had lived for countless years. Just as Ning Cheng's airship turned around, the man suddenly laughed and spoke. Suanjin, even if you secretly came to the Yixing Ocean to forcibly restore your cultivation, so what? Suanjin? Ning Cheng was greatly shocked in his heart. He knew that this woman had a deep hatred towards him. Previously in the North Light Town, he had heard Li Lingfan vaguely mention that Suanjin was seriously injured because of activating the forbidden technique. Not only was he seriously injured, he even announced that the Severing Emotions Dao sect had sealed itself off from the rest of the world. So how could he appear here now? And he's so strong? Ning Cheng's first thought on hearing Suanjin's name was to desperately go forward to help that male cultivator, and then the two of them could join forces to kill Suanjin. However, he immediately understood, and his heart was filled with hatred. These old things were all incomparably cunning, and not a single one of them was good. That man had called out Suanjin's name with the purpose of using him as cannon fodder. For Suanjin to sneak out to the Yixing Ocean, it was obvious that she did not want to be known by others. If he knew that Suanjin was here, then he would definitely speak about it. In order to keep this secret, Suanjin would definitely kill the few of them. Suanjin had already killed a few of the people here. Even if it was just a slight movement of her fingers, it would still give that male cultivator a slight advantage. Just for this little advantage, that male cultivator shamelessly used Ning Cheng and the others as cannon fodder. Ningcheng did not wait for Suanjin to start and spoke out in a loud voice. We have offended a few people in the Tian continent, and are going to the Lu continent. Please don't mind me and continue your conversation. Saying that, Ningcheng's low-grade flight-type true artifact instantly rushed out. Suanjin, who originally wanted to catch up with Ningcheng to silence him, suddenly changed her mind, and started to attack that man even more crazily. Since they were going to the Lu continent, she simply did not need to care about it. Even with a low-grade flight-type true artifact, it would still take several years to reach the Lu continent from here. Moreover, they had to pray that they wouldn't encounter any powerful demonic beasts along the way. Otherwise, they would just be waiting for death. A sea-opening realm cultivator wanting to cross the Yixing Ocean to reach the Lu continent. To be honest, it was not much different from courting death. Seeing that Suanjin did not chase after him, Ningcheng felt relieved. By the time Suanjin reacted, he had already left. That male cultivator coldly snorted. What a crafty kid. Uncle, didn't we just come from the Lu continent? Why do we want to go to the Lu continent? Taishu Pingho quickly asked. Taishu Pingho's spiritual roots were quite good, and with the help of sufficient cultivation resources, he had already advanced to Qi gathering 5th level. Moreover, his body was also a lot more robust. I was wrong, we should be going to the Tian continent. Ningcheng smiled, but in his heart he was very distressed. He did not know how far away he was from the Tian continent, nor did he know which direction he should take. In case he really ended up going in the direction of the Lu continent, then it would truly be very depressing. 50,000 spirit stones per person. The female cultivator at the entrance of the Heavenly Dao Public Square's Cultivator Exchange Hall casually spoke. So expensive? Zhang Sunyin called out in shock. Then she looked at Yanji and spoke. Big sister Yanji, why don't we not go in? 50,000 high-grade spirit stones, this is simply. They really are country bumpkins. Although Ji had already left, but there were still a lot of people in the Tian continent who looked down on the cultivators from the Lu continent. In the Heavenly Dao Public Square, 50,000 spirit stones was really nothing. As for the people who came here, which one of them did not want to throw away a lot of money? It's just a trifling 50,000 spirit stones. I'll take out 500,000. Junior apprentice Sister Ji, you can go in. Bei Xingjin gave a cold snort, and did not hesitate to stand up and speak. Yanji calmly spoke. No need, I still have a few tens of thousands of spirit stones. Saying that, she took out 100,000 spirit stones and handed it to the cultivator at the entrance, while simultaneously speaking to Zhang Sunyan. Junior apprentice Sister Zhang Sun, I'll help you pay your share. She knew that although Zhang Sunyan was also from an 8-star academy, but since she came from the Lu continent, she would definitely not be as rich as her. Big sister Yanji, I still have some spirit stones. Zhang Sunyan quickly wanted to take out the spirit stones, but was stopped by Yanji. After I got lost at the bottom of the Blood River, you spoke up for senior apprentice Brother Ning. I have not been able to repay you for this kindness, so what are a few tens of thousands of spirit stones? Zhang Sunyan spoke up for Ningcheng, and even became a stranger to Nalan Rushua, all because of Ningcheng. Nalan Rushua looked at Yanji in surprise. She had always thought that Yanji looked at Ningcheng in a different light, because Ningcheng had saved her. However, from those words, Nalan Rushua could see that Yanji was not because Ningcheng had saved her, but rather because she had feelings for Ningcheng. Seeing Yanji and Zhang Sunyan enter, Bei Xingjin's complexion turned very ugly, but he did not leave. After paying the spirit stones, he followed them into the Cultivator Exchange main hall. Nalan Rushua, who was even richer than Yanji, obviously would not miss such an opportunity, and immediately followed them inside. The female cultivator guarding the entrance knew that these cultivators from the Lu continent all knew each other, but she did not know whether it was because of Yanji's Blood River Red Lotus, or because of Yin Kongchan, or because of Ningcheng, but she unexpectedly did not continue to ask the other cultivators to come up with a treasure. As long as one paid the entrance fee of 50,000 spirit stones, they could then enter the Cultivator Exchange main hall. Some of the cultivators who had taken a fancy to Nalan Rushua and Yanji's appearance also could not wait to enter the main hall, They wanted to take advantage of the fact that Nalan Rushiwe and Yanji had not joined any of the major academies to get to know them. Otherwise, in the future, they would not even have the opportunity to speak with them. The Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's first-level Soul Essence Realm Cultivator seemed to know that Yanji and the others not only knew Ningcheng, but also had some relationship with Ningcheng. After he deliberately followed them inside, he then pointed to the empty platform on the right side of the main hall and spoke. You see it, this place is the battle ring where senior apprentice Brother Ning and the Red Star Sword factions Ding Liang fought. That Ding Liang's cultivation was higher than senior apprentice Brother Ning, but under the hands of senior apprentice Brother Ning, he could not even last a single round, before senior apprentice Brother Ning dug out his golden core, and then, with someone explaining the events that happened in the past with Ning Cheng, some of the Lu Continent's cultivators who came in temporarily forgot to look at the other things in the main hall, as they gathered around this cultivator and listened attentively. Seeing Yanji and the other Lu Continent's cultivators surrounding him and listening to him with great interest, the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's Soul Essence cultivator spoke with even more enthusiasm. Then senior apprentice Brother Ning did not take it seriously, and stepped on Ding Liang's golden core. Poor fellow who claimed to be ranked 37th in the profound core realm in the great meet of the academies, ended up having his golden core crushed, haha. His methods are somewhat ruthless, to actually dig out a cultivator's golden core and crush it. Bei Xingjin gave a soft sigh, as he shook his head slightly. This Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's Soul Essence cultivator did not agree with it, and immediately turned furious in his heart. This fellow obviously came from the Lu Continent like senior apprentice Brother Ning, yet unexpectedly said that senior apprentice Brother Ning was ruthless. Humph. This Soul Essence cultivator gave a cold snort. Many people have witnessed the actions of senior apprentice Brother Ning. Moreover, many of the Academy's genius disciples were also saved by senior apprentice Brother Ning. So what makes you say that senior apprentice Brother Ning's methods are ruthless? Bei Xingjin cupped his fists and spoke. This senior apprentice brother, I'm just feeling a bit emotional. In my heart I also stand on Ning Cheng's side. It's just that it is not easy for us cultivators to cultivate, to condense a golden core. We need to accumulate it over countless years. Taking away someone else's golden core and crushing it for no reason at all. It just makes my heart feel a bit sentimental. Bah, sentimental? That Red Star Sword faction's Ding Liang tried to forcibly buy and sell things here, using a low price to forcibly buy things from a cultivator with low cultivation. As a result, no one dared to stand up. Only senior apprentice Brother Ning stood up to stop it. Moreover, before that Ding Liang challenged him. He even said that he would dig out senior apprentice Brother Ning's golden core. Senior apprentice Brother Ning has always been modest and polite from the beginning to the end. How can this be called ruthless? This Soul Essence cultivator cursed out. Bei Xingjin's complexion turned extremely ugly to look at. His cultivation was much higher than this Soul Essence cultivator. As such, in this place, he did not dare to make a move against this person. It's just a rumor, who knows if it's true or not. Bei Xingjin finished speaking, and did not want to waste any more words with this Soul Essence cultivator. However, this Soul Essence cultivator who spoke up for Ningcheng did not let him go, and spoke up with a sneer. With just a glance, I can tell that you and Ding Liang are jackals of the same lair. The cultivator who was bullied at that time was this Zhang Qian. If not for senior apprentice Brother Ning, then there would not be a Zhang Qian today. Senior apprentice Brother Ning has shown me grace, yet you want to secretly slander senior apprentice Brother Ning, humph. Bei Xingjin felt as if he had just swallowed a big fly. When he said that Ningcheng was ruthless, it was only indirectly meant for Yanji to hear. He did not expect that it would be the exact opposite. Senior apprentice Brother Zhang, did senior apprentice Brother Ning kill Ding Liang in this place in the past? Cheng Yixiao had set Ningcheng as his target, so he certainly wanted to know what Ningcheng did after he came to the Cultivator Exchange main hall. Haha, the things that senior apprentice Brother Ning did in the past, you simply cannot imagine. Fortunately, I also helped senior apprentice Brother Ning in the past, and was fortunate enough to participate in this matter. As Zhang Qian spoke, he arrived in front of a stall in the main hall, while the rest of the people subconsciously followed him. Zhang Qian pointed to the stall and spoke in a heroic manner. Do you know what senior apprentice brother Ning did in this place in the past? I'm sure that no one can imagine it. No, it's not the Blood River Red Lotus. Senior apprentice brother Ning directly took out a barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar and put it up for sale. That's right, you certainly did not hear it wrong. It's a barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar. Even if it is a crucible transformation senior. How many of them would be able to take out a barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar for sale? Yan Ji, on hearing Ning Cheng put up a barrel of spiritual enhancement true nectar, her face suddenly turned red. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.